In a world where gaming games are so exciting, waiting all year long until the time will come. Your turn.
What? I can't just make up any words without some meaning.
Pretty good.
This is stupid. This whole thing is really dumb.
Hey, you got it. So if you're looking for some friends, just stick around. Oh yes, the Game Awards will...
Never let you down?
Good luck.
Excuse me?
As we all now come together across the Great Divide.
Oh, from Tokyo to London, we're all watching side by side.
So if you're looking for some fun, the time is now. Here we go. Oh yes, the Game Awards will never let you down. Yeah, we'll see.
What?
Go ahead.
It's a night of magic and online chats galore.
Exactly. It's a shame that host Jeff Keighley's such a bore.
Hey!
Kidding.
All the trailers and celebs and big awards.
Really rigged.
Oh.
Don't forget about all our friends on Discord.
Oh boy, I'm getting so excited about this wonderful world of gaming.
Well, here's some awesome titles you simply can't ignore.
You mean the names of all the games that I'll be playing?
Yeah, now let's get ready, let's get set. You guys keep score.
Let 'em have it!
Oh, there's Mario, Minecraft, Legend of Zelda, Nominee, Donkey Kong, Bonanza, Kingdom Hearts Peak, Shovel Knight, Fortnite, Overcooked, Tomb Raider, and Tomodachi Life, Indiana Jones, Marvel Robinson, Shenmue, Fall Guys, XCOM, Undertale, It Takes Two, and I know you've all been waiting so long for the delayed release of Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Whoa. Glad I didn't have to do that.
1, 2, 3.
So when I'm Princess Peach, wearing my super crown.
Oh yes, the Game Awards will always let you down.
Stop it!
Your turn.
Oh, I can't think of anything now. I need to know.
Oh, the Game Awards will never let you down. But the pig just did.
You'll have a place to wear your sparkly gown.
Everyone!
Oh, yes, the
Game Awards will never let you down.
The Game Awards!
I thought I heard the old man say, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Tomorrow ye will get your pay, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Oh, the wind was foul and the sea ran high. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. She shipped it green and none went by, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. I hate to sail on this rotten tub. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. No grog allowed and rotten grub, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. We swear by our oath for want of more. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. But now we're through, so we'll go on shore, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her.
But he won't. He won't. Silly Johnny. Silly, silly Johnny. Honestly, I don't even feel bad anymore. We told him over the course of like an entire 2-minute song, and bro is still with her. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? He won't. Yeah, no. Zero sympathy for me, frankly. Zero sympathy. Oh, I gotta turn back on the alerts and everything. How are you guys doing? Everybody catch up on their sleep? Everybody feeling better? Recovered, dare I say? Hopefully. It was a busy night. We're gonna look at a bunch of the stuff. Busy night. Hidden One posted this one, and I relate to this. I can turn chats back on. There we go. Yeah, it was a busy night. It was a good night. But we naturally have a lot of stuff to talk about. We will talk about the elephant in the room, of course, High Guard. We'll circle back to that, so we'll discuss it. We'll talk about that. We also have some other stuff. This is crazy. As Michael posted here, senior cinematic designer and coordinator for CDPR, posted this or retweeted this from Sebastian Kalemba. And if you don't know Sebastian is actually the vice president and game director at CDPR working on The Witcher 4. So, like, very, very powerful person. And then the other people in this photo you might recognize, Daniel Vavra, guy behind the Mafia games, and of course more recently Kingdom Come Deliverance and KCD2. And I think he might be one of the waiters or something. But either way, I mean, it's pretty crazy. Pretty baller, dude. Pretty baller. So there you go. Yeah, your Twitch died after 3 seconds. Yeah. I saw that. I don't know what's happening. So I guess it's just going to be YouTube today. It's not going to be a crazy long stream, but yeah, Twitch has been having problems. I don't know if it's AWS problems or what, but keeps it either the bitrate goes from like steady to like down to 100 kilobytes a second, like 140p basically, and then it shoots back up, or it just dies randomly. I don't know. I don't understand. Praise be unto him. Who, the waiter? Okay. But that's a pretty baller picture. I do think there's probably going to be a shift in the narrative now, which is actually, like, I thought the Tomb Raider stuff looked pretty good, but apparently people are upset that, like, she's too attractive, I guess. People are upset about that. Like, I get not wanting to just make games for, like, grums. Like, I get that. But also, like, is this gonna be like the shift is that she's too attractive now? I can't keep up, dude. I just want to play games. Can we just play games? Can we just do that? Let's see, what else was there? Oh yeah, in case you missed it, there is a free update for Expedition 33.
I've quite the imagination now.
And it's got new areas, new weapons, new environments. I mean, bro, look at this. Look how cute it is. Oh my god.
Vassal mentioned this place, but he never showed it to me.
It was his.
At Alucard 171 donated $10 through Super Chat. With GTA 6 coming out just a few days before the nomination window closes, do you think there will be enough time for it to win anything next year?
Yeah, well, and I think so. Jeff can always wrestle with the deadlines too a little bit too. So if it's like, oh, we need an extra few days for nominations, like, it's GTA 6. I'm sure they'll find a way to do it. So yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. Candyland DLC is crazy, dude. And look at this. Their camera, like, look at that. They even allow you to set custom camera or custom lights up. More photo modes need to do that. That's awesome. So that, I mean, that's crazy. That happened. But overall, I think it was a very, very good night. A lot of awesome stuff. What is this? What is this? It might be clip of the year. Somebody send me this.
Astro Boy!
Okay, that's funny. Okay, Astro Boy. That's okay. That's funny. That's funny. You got me. You got me. I don't know what I was expecting, but that's funny. Astro Boy. We found him. He's been missing all this time. He's been missing. That's funny. Oh, but overall, so now that people have had the chance to sleep on it, how are we feeling about the show? How are we feeling about it? On a score, just letter-based score. How you guys feeling? Real quick, I'll let you know, this is also funny. It was spotted by Dan's Gaming. Shout out Dan's Gaming. But Larian actually changed their header to the trademark office website that spoiled the surprise, which honestly, pretty funny. It's pretty funny. So you can actually see it on their official X page. That's what that is. Pretty funny. Pretty funny. Honestly, I think the show was really solid from my perspective. I see a lot of like B's and C's. On Geoff's page, he posted a poll for people. The Queen, of course. Dude, the memes around Geoff and the pig, they've been pretty freaking funny. Yo, Kermit the Frog, at Kermit the Frog. Miss Piggy may be fooling around on you with Jeff Keighley. She also seems drunk. Oh, that's pretty funny. Where's another one? There was another one that was pretty funny. Where'd it go? Just the random picture. I need this to be a recurring thing every year, is just Geoff and Miss Piggy. That's what I need. That's what I need. But beyond that, he posted a poll. Let's see. Yeah, for the show, what people thought of it. And shockingly, 37% of people gave it a D or below. And you can see Synth, shout out Synth, actually ratioed Geoff on the post. It simply asked, what exactly were y'all smoking when you decided a free-to-play hero shooter was a worthy show closer, bro? The final hour of the show was seriously badly paced and lacked any exciting moments. It badly needed a final surprise. The other 2 hours were great, though. And I think that this is the point. I think that last night was a prime example of how order is crucial. Because I firmly believe if they had finished the show on the Larian announcement and this hero shooter one was earlier in the show, I don't think that this would be anywhere near 37%. I don't think it'd be close to that.
MRNP character donated $10 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
Miss Piggy is for the streets. Also, happy Friday.
What a statement. Thank you for that. And yeah, Miss Piggy can get it, I'll tell you what. And happy Friday to you too. Yeah, I think that it's just crucial because these shows are sort of like an emotional roller coaster, right? You can have an amazing roller coaster with cool loop-de-loops and inversions and everything, but it's all about how you leave them. You know, they say that in showbiz. It's all about how you leave them. And if you leave the audience with something extremely underwhelming, even if the rest of the show was amazing, they're gonna remember the last bit. They're gonna remember how you left them, you know? And it can go both ways, where you can have a mediocre show, but one killer announcement at the end that saves it. Like Wolverine at the recent PlayStation one. The rest of the show is like, but then they kill it with a Wolverine reveal, and it's baller. Last year with like Intergalactic, you have like a pretty solid show, but then you show Intergalactic and boom, it's great. So I think that the 37%, in my opinion, is aggressive. I don't think it was a D show by any stretch of the imagination. I'd give it a B, as you can see. But I do think because of how they paced it, it made it feel like a D at the end of the show, just because of how it was going along, and then boom, hard stop with kind of an insane reveal to finish it out. And it's not to say that the team over at Wildlight is bad or incompetent. Clearly very talented people putting it together. Former like Apex and just Titanfall devs. They're clearly talented, but like I'm sorry, it comes off as like one of the most generic fantasy Concord games I've ever seen. And I don't think I'm alone in feeling that. Like, it's just...
Your light belongs to me.
And like I said last night, the problem with these types of reveals finishing shows is that it feels as though it is not actually... It wasn't the best game to finish the show. They just had the biggest checkbook and the fattest stack of cash, and that's why they were there.
At Kane 8222 donated $10 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
Luke, last night you legit had me LMAO when KCD2 and E33 both lost to a mobile game. When you bent over and sighed lol, even I wanted KCD2 to win something even.
Yeah, you mean for the voters' choice or the players' choice award? I thought bounced off the game. I said the problem was just whenever you have a player's choice where it's just about raw numbers, those mobile games and like big MMOs always kill it because they just have such ungodly numbers of players. Like they can just brute force it. And what some of those games will do, the mobile games, is they'll have an in-game prompt where it says vote for us in the game awards and get free rewards or something. So people, they have that pop up 15 times when you log in every day. So finally people just do it to get in-game rewards. And then, they get more votes that way. So it's just, in a way, the game was rigged from the start. When you're doing player choice against any big MMO mobile game, it's tough. It's going to be tough. But yeah, I thought that was crazy that Expedition 33, KCD2, and Dispatch all got passed up by, which one was it? Wuthering Waves. Wuthering Waves. They missed on the... Okay, that's funny. I'll give you that one. That's funny.
At Troy Sapping Robot donated $9.99 through Super Chat. They completely missed the opportunity to call it Total Warhammer. Like, come on, guys.
That would have been funny. I would have liked that. I'm sure it was like licensing problems. But that would have been freaking funny. Would have been really good. It is a good game, to be fair. Yeah, no, I mean, I've not played Wuthering Waves. It was nominated for a bunch of awards, so I'm sure it's pretty solid. I just think, like, all you can do as a player is represent your perspective. My perspective is that KCD2, Dispatch, like, I was really rooting for Dispatch, especially because it didn't really get much love in other categories, which was crazy. So... yeah, that's all you can do is represent yourself. That's what I was doing. I would have easily voted A if Black Flag was shown at the end instead of an Overwatch reskin. I think a lot of people would have. I mean, frankly, I think a lot of people were like, "There's no way they ended on that. There's got to be one more."
At Luke Smith 9723 donated $9.99
Thank
through
you.
Super Chat. Poop.
Finally, someone said it. Finally, someone was brave enough to say it. Damn right. So what I wanted to do today is kind of go over a recap of everything that we saw, everything that was revealed. And let's see, what is this? Oh, Wario posted an update. We'll talk about that. I have some maybe sad news about the Star Wars game. Again, sorry, I just can't. I just can't with that. Okay, I have potentially sad news. We'll get to that. So let's do it this way. Oh, dude, they officially got a guideline restriction. That's baller. Frankly, fair. How did bingo go? Bingo went, I marked it up after the show. But basically I'm counting the Expedition 33 DLC. Even though it's not like an expansion, I think it still counts. We got the Larian game, 007 was there. Blade / Jor. Jor we did see in the audience. We saw the back of his head. So that's confirmed. And then he also shared some videos of his seat. This is where Jor was sitting at the Game Awards. So this is what his spot actually was. He said the show was really cool. The seats were crazy. And the smoke effects weren't too bad until the very, very end with the confetti. That's crazy. And I was right. It was Redberry sitting next to him. That's how you know you're a real friend, when you can tell people from the backs of their heads. I could spot it. I could spot Jor's cranium from a mile away. Sure could. You could do that with mine too, but it's just because of the sheer size.
At Professor Sprinkles 1451 donated $9.99 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
Hey Luke, you've been steadily getting me out of my depression. Thank you for everything. Have any advice on wanting to create a video game of my own? No experience.
First of all, thank you for the 10. That's crazy generous. 2, I'm very humbled by that. I'm glad that you're feeling better, my friend. And I'm glad you're here. As for advice on wanting to create a video game of my own, I mean, I've never made my own video game. But what I do know is that the people who have, like just Expedition 33's devs, last night were thanking like YouTube tutorials and stuff for helping them learn how to make games, because they didn't really know, a lot of them, when they started working on Expedition 33. So I would say if you want to make something, just start. Just start. Like I didn't have somebody handhold me through like streaming or making videos or critiques or reviews. Like you just have to start doing it. If you want to be a video game developer, start developing video games. If you want to be a YouTuber, start making YouTube videos. You know, they'll suck when you start, but then you'll get a little better and a little bit better and then a little bit better and a little bit better. And every single year it'll get better. And you'll look back and be like, oh my God, look how far I've come. But there's no shortcuts, you know, it takes a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of iteration, you know, but the difference between those who do and those who don't is those that do actually started. A lot of the people, like so many people are like, I want to make games, I want to make videos, I want to be a streamer, I want to be a YouTuber, whatever it is. And you talk to them and they never start, because there's always 1,000 reasons not to do it. What I always tell people, just like Jan said in The Office, just like Shia LaBeouf said, just do it. There's always 1,000 reasons not to do something and only a few reasons to do something. Focus on the reasons to do something. Make something, create something. You'll be happy. You'll be thankful, but you just got to start. Just do it. Yesterday you said tomorrow, so just
At QuickAir7
do
donated
it.
$9.99 through Super Chat. How long do you think it'll be until Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic? 2029 or 2030?
Longer than I think people expect. I have a tweet pulled up. We'll look at it because yeah, there's reason to be thinking it's going to take a little while. What else do we get? Yeah, we spotted Jor. We'll go through this stuff in just a second. We got Photor. So we'll talk about that. But we didn't see Judas, which I thought was crazy. We didn't see Crimson Desert at all, which I also thought was kind of crazy. I thought for sure they would have a trailer or something, but no. No Fable, no New Vegas anything. No God of War spin-off game, which I thought we would probably see because it was rumored to come out by the end of this year. Obviously now it's not, so it must have been delayed. No Light No Fire. That's kind of surprising. It's been like 2-3 years at this point. Horizon multiplayer, still nothing. That probably shows up at a Sony event. No Elder Scrolls 6. Wasn't really expecting it. Bloodborne 2. Come on. Starfield on PS5. I really thought we would see that. It really is making me think that they might have abandoned Starfield. That they might be scrapping it. Not scrapping it. Walking away from it. Because it was supposed to have a second expansion probably like at the end of this summer. And it was expected to launch on PS5 during that time. And now it's been delayed significantly and it's nowhere to be seen, which makes me think that they probably just completely redirected, I guess, their efforts and stuff. I think that's what it is. Very, very strange. I wonder why. I think it's because the freaking whatever Shattered Space expansion did terribly, reviewed really poorly, saw like no player bump. So I think it was just a waste of time and resources. So like, why spend all that time and money doing that when we can just do something else? So I think they just pivoted off. Exactly. Okay. Let's do this recap. Let's do this recap. Stellar Blades devs at Shift Up did a custom pic of Eve dressed as Mael holding the award from last night to celebrate Expedition 33's win. Oh, that's cute. I do like when studios do crossover events. That's always kind of cool. So glad Jennifer English won Best Performance. I mean, she deserved it. Killed it. Did great. The one thing about Stellar Blades crossover of that is like Mael is like 16 years old. Is the costume tasteful? Hopefully the costume is not standard Stellar Blade style because she's a child. Let's see. Before Jeff, oh, is he gonna read it? I think it's gonna read it. Exodus in early 27. Yeah, dude, that it looked pretty good. Didn't see that coming. Thought it would be earlier, made 26. Also, no Black Flag. Still waiting for Prince of Persia remake. I think Ubisoft is gonna come out swinging next year. They should have a ton. It's just the Expedition costume. Okay, it's not reworked. Okay, then that's good. That's good. I was worried it was going to be like,
171 donated $10 through Super Chat. Before Jeff revealed Concord 2, the overworld in the background had me thinking it was Elder Scrolls 6.
Like this. So you saw this, you're like, oh my god, it's happening. See, the moment I saw him with like that haircut, I was like, nope, this is live service. I don't know what it is, dude, but the haircuts are like the ultimate indication of what a game is going to be nowadays. You know, like you see the haircuts, you're like, no. Before this, oh, you mean when they were like on stage, like the background on the stage? Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, I could see that actually. I could see that. But yeah, the haircuts are always the giveaway. I don't know what it is, but like live service games have a very typical, like, this is cool haircut, and it's just weird. It's weird to me. F-boy haircuts. I don't think it's F-boy haircuts anymore because like nowadays, like I live in a college town, and dude, they're all doing, what do they call them, like broccoli cuts or something, where they like kind of curl the front of their hair and then it like bounces over. Looks insane to me. I don't know what they're doing. But like when I was in junior high school, it was like the Justin Bieber swoosh haircut was still cool. So I'm sure every generation has this. Like there's always just some insane thing, but yeah, I don't know what it is. The haircuts are always the giveaway. All over Florida, man. Oh, I'm sorry. It's better than like 2-3 years ago where everything was the permed mullets. My barber was telling me, he's like, I do a lot of haircuts for like high schoolers that come in because his like barbershop is pretty close to a high school, and he said that he does or at the time did a crazy number of perm mullets. Shave, perm. I'm like, bro. It's crazy. So you'd see these like 12-year-old kids walking around with perm mullets. I'm like, what is happening, dude? Honestly, that's a little more bold than the broccoli cut. The broccoli cut is like, what are we doing? Let's see. If I remember right before you streamed, right? I can't read. If I remember right, on your stream before the awards, you said that fans of RPGs are going to be happy. Saying you know some things. Was it Divinity? Yeah, so Divinity is like the most obvious one. The other one, which I'm sorry, guys, it's not RPG related. But the freaking moment, I thought I had a tab of it. The moment where everybody was like, this is gonna be Half-Life. Mega Man Game Awards. So I knew what this one was gonna be. And dude,
all right, we've come to a very special point in tonight's show, especially for those of us who have been playing games for decades. Over the years,
you hear decades and you think, oh, storied franchise, Half-Life's been rumored. So we all started thinking
an event like this one day. Tonight, I'm excited to share this piece of news with all of you.
And then like an orchestra piece. So we're like, dude, they wouldn't do that for just any game. That's only for big games. And then they go through the corridor and you're like, it could be. And then you look up here. This could have been the giveaway if we were paying more attention. We see 2009, 2010, 2018. Like they're showing different timelines. So that could have been a giveaway, but and dude, am I alone in thinking this ever so faint shade? You see that? It for a moment kind of looks like the Half-Life logo, like just a little bit, where you're like, maybe? Dude, it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny because, like, I don't know. I maybe they were trolling a little bit. Maybe they were trolling a little bit, or maybe it was just a pleasant coincidence for them. But man, it was so funny watching chat just explode. We had like 10,000 people in here, and people are losing their minds. Like, oh my god, it's happening! Holy crap, Half-Life, it's happening! And it was like, guys, no, calm down, no. So that was pretty funny. As for other games, I have to be careful because I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say, what I'm not allowed to say about. FOTOR is. Are we gonna call it FOTOR? Is that like what we're gonna call it? I feel like I should be locked in. This one was. Oh yeah, this is good. This one, pretty exciting, and RPG fans are going to be very, very happy about this. This was going around again. I think that this is what was being referred to. You remember we pulled up that tweet where one journalist was saying, I'm really shocked that one particular game has not been leaked yet. Good job, journalists and content creators and whatever. I think he was referring to this game because this was one that like even I had heard was going to be there. But I mean, I'm glad that it wasn't leaked ahead of time. But yeah, this is going to make RPG fans really happy. Overall, like I think it was a solid show. Again, I think it's just a reminder that order and structure of a show is important. Real quick, did I catch up on these? I can't believe we got live service hero shooter slop as the final reveal of the biggest game show of the year. You can't do that. Well, you can if you have money. If you have all of the money, then you can, apparently. Hawk Rock, thank you for the 2. Star Wars Fate reportedly won't release until at least 2030. Yeah, we'll look at that. I have that tab pulled up. We'll touch on this when we get to that. What do you think about Neo 3 and Phantom Blade 0 being released same year? Neo 3... I'm sure it's going to be solid. Phantom Blade 0, I'm actually like very excited for. I've played it on 2 different occasions and it's very good and it just keeps getting better. So I think that that's going to be a winner. Okay, let's go through these one by one real quick, fam. Okay. News and everything. You guys are too generous. Calm down. We have to watch a gross trailer. Sorry, not sorry. Cancel me. I don't care. Cancel me. After knowing Intergalactic Horizon, God of War, my theory is that Sony is saving all of this for their own showcase or Summer Games Fest, which is more likely their own showcase, 1000%. A lot of these big publishers are just like, why would we spend 5 million, 10 million, 20 million paying Jeff to showcase our stuff when we can put it up on our own pages and it'll get around just as well. And I think that that's why Ubisoft isn't here. I think that's why Sony wasn't there. I think it's a lot of that. So yeah, I mean, you can't blame them. Like if you have a huge announcement, it's why I said I thought Elder Scrolls 6 or something is so unlikely. Like if you have Elder Scrolls 6, save it for the Xbox show. Why would Phil give that to somebody else? You know, why would he do that? And then let's see. KYK, thank you for the super chat. I don't cry for KCD2. It is I can't read. It is Stifler's mom, not prettiest chick at the party, But if you have the balls to ask her, you'll remember the ride for years. Twice. That is a vivid description. That's a vivid description. Saros was there. Saros is fire. Yeah, they were there technically. Yeah. I guess you're right. What do you think about the Bradley the Badger game? We'll look at it. It looks pretty baller. Okay. So news segment. I want to recap everything that we saw at the Game Awards. Of course, the first one to just get out of the way up front is the new Larian game. This one looks absolutely wild and crazy and dark. But to be fair, there is like no gameplay. There's nothing to go off of here. It's mainly tone setting, vibe setting, and showing us that it's there.
TJ Gerard 7,557 donated $10 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
I love how when CA confirmed TW would be at the show, they said it wouldn't be Warhammer. They technically didn't lie since it's 40k. They trolled us a bit LMAO, but
yeah, they did. And honestly, if it retains the excitement and the announcement, like, okay, be pedantic. Because they even did that with Larian, where they're like, there are no plans for a Divinity Original Sin sequel. Technically true, because it's not. This is Divinity. It's a separate thing, but it's also the same, you know? So they technically, you know, get away with a loophole. So I'm okay with being pedantic if it retains the surprise, you know? I'm okay with that. But with this, I think that, you know, some people were upset that there wasn't really anything to go off of other than vibe setting and tone setting. I mean, I think that with these types of trailers, it is just tough to set that expectation and communicate it clearly beyond just like initial vibes and presentation of what you're effectively doing. There were complaints back in the day with Baldur's Gate 3, actually, where people said that those trailers and like the darkness and everything portrayed in them didn't match the vibe of the final game. And that's probably the case here too. I don't expect the game to end up being this like
at Stephen Folden
intense,
9,636 donated $20 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
Luke, any Steam Deck game recommendations? And did you see Kojima walking out last night? Thank you, Father Game Man.
I saw him make a little smirk when Expedition won Game of the Year. He went so I don't think anybody was that shocked, frankly. But as far as I know, he watched the entire show. But I did see a funny clip of him when they won Game of the Year of just like you know, I think everybody saw that coming. Like I told you, basically. As for Steam Deck recommendations, Dave the Diver and Dredge. Play those. So I don't expect the game to end up being like this dark or intense when we finally get it. I think that it's an eye-catching trailer, and honestly, it's got viral potential. It's very memorable. It's crazy, dark, and gritty. It's gonna achieve the goal that they set out, you know. As for when we expect to see, I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be freaking ages before we see anything. They are having fun with it though. Larian on their X page, Larian, they actually updated their header, so now in the background it's actually the freaking trademark website that spoiled the surprise. I do think that the final little announcement or showing of their logo, I think this would have popped off a lot more if it hadn't leaked ahead of time, of course, but still very exciting, still a vibe. And the trailer's actually been age restricted on YouTube, which is crazy, but it's because it's intense and dark. But I'm sure this is going to pop off and be crazy. We just don't know anything about the gameplay. There's rumors that it may forego turn-based combat and maybe real-time third person, but then other people are saying no, it's going to be turn-based, so we just don't know. But if they could share more information about it, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. So that was good. I think that would have been a solid one to finish the show on. Personally, another one that would have been really solid for finishing the show on was, of course, FOTOR, Fate of the Old Republic. This is a big deal, of course, because of who's directing it. Casey Hudson, one of the OGs. actually a big deal, like legitimately a big deal. He's come back to work on it, but this also is just a cinematic trailer. It's a vibe. They do a great job of setting the tone. And this reveal with the lightsaber. Pretty baller. So I think that's gonna be awesome. But it is important to know that Wario clipped this. Fate of the Old Republic may not release until at least 2030. Quote, last night's biggest surprise was Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic, led by Casey Hudson, who directed KOTOR and Anthem. To be fair, gotta have the whole portfolio there. Exciting news for lots of people, but Lucasfilm says the studio was founded this year, which means that 2030 is an optimistic guess. Jason Schreier says maybe it'll be a PlayStation 7 game. So calm down. 2030 is an optimistic guess, which is wild. So if they founded the studio this year, typically there's a lot of hiring, there's a lot of pre-production stuff that happens. It can be a 5 to 6 to 7 year process after the fact to actually get the game out the door. So if we're starting to look at like 2030 to 2032, I don't think we're quite in the PlayStation 6 era, because I realistically think the PlayStation 6 comes out 2028. And then you think 6-7 year console generation should be 2034, 2035 that we get the PlayStation 7. So I'm probably not a PlayStation 7 game. If it's a PlayStation 7 game, I mean, that would mean that it would take 10 years to put together. Maybe it does take 10 years to put together, but that's the timeline we'd be talking about. So this may be one of those trailers where we, oh, did I say 6 to 7? God damn it. Anyway, I'm just going to move on. I'm going to move on. But don't expect this anytime soon. This may be one of those games where like we look back on it in a decade and go, oh, that was announced back then. Back when I still had all my teeth and my body was firm. You know, that may be one of these. It may be one of those games. So, you know, a cool announcement, but it doesn't really mean anything because it's so far away. Another Star Wars project, though, is closer. This one was also kind of a surprise, which is Star Wars Galactic Racer. And it's just straight up pod racing. Game engine footage that they show. And it looks like it's just a pod racing game, which is cool. These types of games are always kind of cool, so long as they're not like overdone. Like Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, cool game, being able to play Quidditch again, that's fun. But when you try to turn it into like the next live service thing, you over monetize it, you overbuild it, and it becomes too big, you know? So you got to kind of calm it down and keep the scope small, and then I think it pops off. Like the idea of racing through like the battlefields of massive battles and stuff, and old ships that have crashed, like that's genuinely really cool, and I think Star Wars fans will really eat it up. I just hope that the scope has been maintained, because I think if it's kept a little bit tighter, it'll help it a lot. But that one also looks really, really cool. We also saw, of course, an announcement for Diablo, and Blizzard. You know, we meme and joke on Blizzard a lot because they're Blizzard. They make it easy, but they do know how to make ridiculously cool cinematic trailers. Like, for real, dude. Some of the stuff that they do in these trailers is just insane. It's just ridiculous. Like this one where he pulls through the sword and all the demons are like, damn, dude, calm down. Like, crazy cool. Wild, though. Wild. Absolutely wild. Which sledding game had a mention as up and coming? Sledding game? wish sledding game. I'm not sure what that one is, Zach. Thank you for the 2. But this one, Diablo, looks absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. I mean, I don't know enough about Diablo 4 to know if it's going to be good or not, but there you go. There's also, of course, 2 announcements in the family of Tomb Raider. One, this was kind of surprising. So one of the games is we basically just got cinematics for, but it is coming in 2027 and it's the actual new game. The other game is going to be a remake of the old game, I believe is the understanding, but they both look pretty solid. This is just cinematics, hard to tell anything from it. This one, of course, Legacy of Atlantis. This one.
New discoveries waiting behind every door.
At Luke 9,700
looks pretty good.
Donated $9.99 through Super Chat. NGL the Sheepdog game is peak.
Oh, the Sheepdog game. That does look super relaxing. Yeah, that one did look fire. That one did look really good. Uh-oh. Dude, on our live stream, somebody commented. I saw the comment. Somebody commented like, what is this? What did they call it? They called it like demonic evolutionist crap or something because the dinosaurs had feathers.
Through Super Chat. Good afternoon, Luke. Am I the only one that thinks they are gonna poop the bed with the Black Flag remake?
No, you're definitely not the only one. I do think there's gonna be a lot of like cynical pricks associated with it. Because they're kind of like, they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. If they change stuff, people will be pissed that they changed it and be like, it was better in the original. And if they don't change stuff, they're gonna be like, see, it's lazy and they didn't try. So no matter what they do, it's gonna be tricky. Like the combat, they changed the combat because people hated the combat, and now people want them to go back to the old combat, and it's like, okay. And same like if they cut the trailing missions, people who are OGs are gonna be like, no, that was part of the identity of the old AC games, keep it. But then if they leave it in, it's going to be like, oh my God, these missions are so boring. So, you know, it's just, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. That's what I say when I don't know what to say. But yeah, I did see one guy complaining that the dinosaurs had feathers, and they said that it was evolutionist, demonic, whatever crap. Which brought me back to my childhood, frankly. Because I used to hear that type of thing all the time. All the time. I was like, oh. Oh, what's Naughty Dog working on? Intergalactic, dude, and something
Steven
else.
Folden
But
9,636 donated $10 through Super Chat. Do you think ES6 is being reworked after the criticism for Starfield and the multitude of issues for Oblivion Remaster? I am not excited for it personally with modern Bethesda.
I understand your skepticism. No, I don't think it's been reworked. I mean, maybe a couple things are like they're gonna work on shortening load screens and stuff, but the game is what the game is. It's been in production since like 2017, 18. So by the time we got Starfield, pretty much everything the game was going to be was locked in. So like not content wise, but feature wise and scope wise and everything. So no, I don't think anything's changed. Don't think so. Doesn't it look too clean? Huge fan of Tomb Raider trilogy, felt grimy, and while this looks polished and shiny. I think that comes with higher end graphics, frankly. I think it looks good. We'll see how it plays, you know.
At Jordy Vision 9,936 donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Hey Luke, I like E33, but for narrative I think it should have went someone else. The big reveal for E33 Kindiv does the tired movie gimmick IYKYK.
Been a fan of your work here since the Arkham video. Oh, shout out. That's crazy. That's baller. That's crazy. Thank you for being here. That's wild. As for best narrative, I can understand it for best narrative. Because like it was a compelling story, but I also like it's RPG. Best RPG is the one where I'm like, bro, should have gone to KCD. Robbed. I think that's the thing. With this one, so we also saw Control 2. It's not technically Control 2. It's Control Resonant. A new protagonist, different, like totally overhauled combat system as well. So it's no longer just guns. It's actually like a melee based combat system with like this cool, like transforming weapon. Looks absolutely crazy. Very trippy, as you would expect from Remedy, but this one looks fire. This one looks absolutely fire. Yeah, to be clear, it's not a new character narratively, but in terms of like gameplay wise, they've reworked a ton of stuff. This one looks absolutely crazy. I think this is going to be a cool one. And I can't wait for the musical number that's going to be in there. And honestly, at this point, if there's no musical number, I will actually be disappointed. No joke. I will be disappointed if there's not a big musical number, because the last one was so good. Speaking of so good, we saw more Resident Evil Requiem. This is one of those games that just, I mean, it looks really good and it just keeps looking better and better. Of course, we got the Leon reveal. It's interesting for this though. They are going to be distinguishing between Leon and Grace. So she is going to be doing like the stealth sort of, think Resident Evil 7 segments where it's spooky, scary, where you're crouching, trying to navigate through hallways stealthily and stuff without the monster getting you. And then Leon is going to be manning the action sequences where you actually like fight back and have a gun and stuff like that. So they can have both different ways of playing in different sequences without like the narrative weirdness of like, wait, this character was scared in this scene and then not scared in that scene. So they can have the best of both worlds. And I think that that's a good idea, just in terms of structure and approach. I will say the environments continue to look insane. Like, bro, it's just crazy. It looks so good. It looks so good. So good. So that one, not really surprising that it looks good, but you know, it continues to look good, which is in and of itself good. Pragmata also got a trailer. This one is, of course, the new one from Capcom. Copyrighted music as well.
At Torchbird
I don't know, man.
2860 donated $9.99
Thank
through
you.
Super Chat. When do you think we'll see Black Flag? Also, do you think they'll shadow drop it upon announcement?
They should. If they know what's good for them, they should. I really cannot stress enough how much better for them I think shadow dropping it will be. I really think that's the right way to do it. Especially with the game having so many people looking at it and wanting to see. Like, basically, if you announce it January and you spend 2 months, like, you know, 2 months revving it up and getting people talking about it and doing occasional information drops, it's just going to give people 2 months to find reasons not to play it. But if you shadow drop it, everybody's going to go, I'm curious. I want to know. I'm going to check it out. And they're just going to go check it out and try it. Do it that way. Do it that way. Shadow drop it all day, every day. That's what they need to do. As with Pragmata is just one of those games. It's been in development for ages. I believe it was originally supposed to launch in 2021. And, you know, they've made progress on it. It's getting there. Some people absolutely love it. For me, I don't really know how you turn it into a whole game that doesn't feel crazy repetitive. Because basically what they have is, as you can see, like they have some big boss fights and stuff, but most of the game, at least all the combat that I've seen and that I played at Summer Games Fest, is like this. The robots attack you. You have to hold down, I think it was left trigger to open up this menu, and then you hack it by using the like square, triangle, circle, X buttons to go and navigate this maze and connect it. That breaks their shield, opens them up so you can then deal damage to them. And every enemy has to be broken open that way. Bosses, all of their weak points have to be unlocked and broken up this way. And it's cool for like half an hour. I don't know how it works over like 10 to 15 hours, you know? I don't know. I do not feel that Pragmata is a game long hours. I think you mean like you don't think it's going to be a long game. I agree. I think it's also $60 they said. So it's going to be shorter. which I think is better, so it doesn't overstay its welcome. But it has a demo out now. You can go try it as well. When you try it, just keep in mind, like, think to yourself, does this work for 10 hours? It might not, which is why it may end up being like a 6-hour game, but it's going to be an interesting one to see. It's just very weird. It's very weird and different. We got a new, Invincible fighting game update. I don't know, not really my thing. Solasta 2, this one was also revealed. Tactical Adventures, published by Kepler. They've been killing it, and this one does seem interesting. Not for everybody, especially like here. So it's got turn-based combat, top-down, tactical grid. I mean, it's right up your alley if you like these kinds of games, but for other people, it's not going to be their cup of tea. I do think it looks really good, though. I'm interested in this one. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on as well. We also, Exodus continues to look really, really good. It was announced back in 2023, but now it's set for release in early 2027, and Matthew McConaughey is going to be in it. So, all right. But this one seems intriguing. I'm very interested, but it's actually coming out. It's just coming out later than I think we all were expecting, which is unfortunately early 2027, like I said, is what they expect it to be. But it looks really good. And Monkey. What more do you need? Not much. This one, so Coven of the Chicken Foot. This one is from the former co-director of, like, basically he used to be Neil Druckmann's right-hand man. Okay, so Neil Druckmann, when he was working on The Last of Us, he was the gameplay director on The Last of Us and Uncharted 4. And after Uncharted 4, I mean, that was apparently just like development hell. It was like miserable. It was very tough. It was exhausting. Everybody was crunching and overworked. It was just crazy. After After Uncharted 4 came out, Bruce Straley left Naughty Dog and sort of took a creative break. After a while, he went and founded Wildflower Studios, or Wildflower Interactive, and that's his studio. So Neil's former right-hand man went off and founded this studio, and honestly, it looks pretty freaking cute. I don't really understand anything about the game. You play as like a granny with like a crazy monster, and you do collaborative stuff for puzzles and stuff, I guess. Puts the helmet on her while he wears the bucket helmet. Dude, it looks pretty cute. I just love wacky games like this, like just crazy kind of ideas where you're like, what even is this? I kind of like it. Ooh. And then the eyes open. I don't even know, dude, but it looks good. So that one is going to be one to keep an eye on, because it's from, again, Bruce Straley, who really knows what he's doing. Currently, it's in development for Windows. They did not, as far as I know, announce like consoles. Saros was also shown off, so this has been booped to April. I believe it was originally looking at March, and now it's been booped to April. Honestly, March was going to be too crowded anyways. I think April is a better spot for it, where it can kind of have all of the focus on it. I wonder what the game was that they were threatened by. It could have been a combination of things. Crimson Desert, I think, is going to dominate a lot of the coverage and discourse when it comes out. That could be part of it, where they just want to get a little space. Who knows? But now it is coming in April, and of course it still looks very good. Housemarque definitely knows what they're doing. And yeah, look at that. Ooh. The boss fights go hard, man. Doesn't that look cool? Oh my god. Oh my God. So now April 30th, it's at the end of the month. End of the month. End of the month. Okay. Other than that, let's see. This one was probably one of my biggest excitement. So this is from a studio called Neon Giant. If you don't remember their previous game, let me pull up a clip of it. When you see it, you'll go, oh yeah. So it was called The Ascent. And The Ascent was this like cyberpunk game. And it was one of these like dual thumbstick shooters. It's really good. You can play it, at least you used to be able to play it on Game Pass. And it's just really, really well done. It's really good. So I recommend you try it. But this is what they previously did. And there's cyberpunk environments, the world building. It is vibes. Like, it is baller.
This could result in your fucking head being blown off. We recommend the acquisition of lethal weaponry, tactical equipment, and protective armor. You should also augment your capabilities.
Really good. Really good. So if you've not played The Ascent, you should. Especially if you're seeing this, you're like, how did I not play that? You should. It's really, really good. Now, their new game is actually coming published by Krafton, and it is an open world AAA first-person shooting RPG. And this one, again, if they didn't put Neon Giant and Krafton in front, I would have thought that this was like something cyberpunk related, like either a spin-off game or like it doesn't have the same like nuance of like Cyberpunk 2077, but it has the vibe. I would have been like, oh, this could be a spin-off game or something. It looks like really solid. But dude, especially as they continued showing more and more, especially when they got to the gameplay, I was like, what on earth?
Their terms. I walked away from it all, kept my hands in dirt instead of blood. But desire is a fickle mistress. The city won't let me go. It won't forget my name. I asked for nothing, and they still came. And
especially like that shot, that was very Cyberpunk 2077. You know, all of the neon.
Took everything. The mayors and anyone that stands in my way. Every last one of them. They're gonna learn something real simple.
That kick.
You reap what you sow.
Looks really good. Looks really good. So I think that this one is gonna be worth checking out. I believe it is the male voice actor from Cyberpunk 2077. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it is literally that voice actor. So yeah. Wish list now. I don't think they give any specific timelines. It could be late next year, early 27. Just kind of depends. Pretty much anything that would normally slate to late next year is going to get booted to 2027 because of GTA. So I would probably expect that. But this one looks absolutely crazy. And I think that that's definitely one to keep an eye on because Neon Giant's really, really good. They really know what they're doing with the cyberpunk aesthetic and vibes. And man, it looks really good. Looks really good. So that one is exciting, of course. The other one that we, of course, have to touch on that has also been age restricted, which is awesome, is Total War Warhammer 40K. This one just, I mean, if you know Warhammer, you know Warhammer. I told you guys on stream, this is an actual model. I don't have one because they are very hard to find. They're stupid expensive. And even if you get one, they suck. 40K. A lot of people will like 3D print their own, but this is what it's called. A Stampa. That's what that is. That's what it is. You can paint them all different ways, but there's a bunch. I do, like I told you guys, I play orcs. I have like an easy orc to show you. I have some. Like, look at these. Look at these. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. I have to fix some of these because some of these like got really damaged. But like, look at the little guy. Look at that little guy. He's just a little guy. Yeah, some of these helicopters, their rotors fell off, unfortunately. Come on. Come on. Focus. Focus. There you go. See? Very good. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. So I like my orcs. I like my orcs and declaring the war. And this game has that, dude. And it looks good. No!
Lead your armies. Conquer worlds. Fight on as the galaxy burns.
There you go. And then they pull out. So what's crazy is they show this. So they show like the on-map fighting, which Total War, it's just these games are baller because they let you literally just command an army in real time. It's pretty awesome. And like huge scale battles, but then they pull out the camera and show like planetary battles and then like star system battles, and there's no peace amongst the stars. So I think there's going to be multiple planets and stuff to fight against. It looks really good. So I'm very excited for that one. I think that's going to be awesome. I'm very excited for that one. Another one I think is going to be awesome. Of course, we have to show it. Game of the Year 2026. Lego Batman. I mean, what is insane is that literally like Rocksteady, it's so insane. They make an amazing trilogy of games that sort of redefine and sort of create their own genre. And then they drop the ball and piss the bed terribly with Suicide Squad and a sort of mediocre VR game before that. And so then, like, of all companies to come and pick up the mantle, it's freaking like the Lego Batman series. Who could have possibly seen this coming? I never ever would have guessed that Lego Batman would pick up the Arkham mantle, but they're literally doing it. It's crazy. It's crazy. But it looks so good. It looks so good, dude.
This town deserves a better class of criminal. Good evening, Gotham. Join us in a celebration of absolute chaos.
Someone's gotta step up.
Let's get to the root of the problem.
We don't do that.
Sorry.
Tonight's forecast, a freeze is coming.
This is my favorite part.
Oh. Dude, it's so good. It's just for children and banned. I'm kidding. If you think that that is just for children, you have lost a part of your heart that needs love and joy. Do you need a hug? For you to look at what we just saw and say, that's for children. I feel for you. Such a sad, miserable, decrepit, troglodytic buffoon. Truly, you have my pity. You have my pity. I almost called him Wolverine. Deadpool is coming to Marvel Rivals, so that's a thing. Phantom Blade Zero is coming next fall. Seriously, like, this game it just, again, if I had not played it, I would have been like, I don't know what it is. They still, though, are fighting one of the narratives that even came up on stream last night, which is people say, oh no, another Souls-like. It is crucial to understand that this is not a Souls-like. It actually plays much more like Devil May Cry. It's a more of an action game than a Souls-like. And when people say Souls-like, I guess I should be more precise. For a lot of people, Souls-like is like tough combat and bosses with hitbox-based combat systems where it's like, you know, R1 for light attack, R2 for heavy, maybe a special move here and there. But it's mostly about like dodging and spacing. With this game, it's more about combos and like weapon swapping into combos, and there are, of course, parries and stuff, but it's mostly about combos and tying combos together, which is why like the animations are so ridiculously cool, because that's what's happening, is it's playing out combos. So it plays very differently than I think it looks when you see it on stream. But I think that that's also why people will probably try it and be like, oh, okay, interesting. So it's just very different. But every time I've tried it, it's just been better and better and better. Their initial, so I don't know this for a fact, but the first time I tried it at Summer Games Fest 2024, it was really good. Like, it played well, but it was probably running at what felt like maybe 1440p, but it was rendering at like 900p and it was upscaling up, so it was like really blurry, and even then the frame rates weren't great. That was in June of 2024. When I played it this past summer in June of 25, it looked like this. It was super sharp and it ran really well. And then even now with this, I feel like this is running even better. The hair physics is even better than what I saw in June. It's just getting better and better. Like, they have made significant overhauls and improvements to performance and optimization, and it's ridiculously impressive. So this is going to be one to watch for. It just, they're just continuing to overhaul it, make it look better and run better. So yeah, if I hadn't played it, I'd be a lot more like, I don't know, we'll see. But I've played it, and like, it just seriously is that insane. Some of these areas we've actually played, others are totally new. Like, I don't think we've seen that before. But the game actually just is that good. It's ridiculous. It just is. It's insane. So I still wonder about the connective tissue, what you're going to be doing from like mission to mission, quest to quest. We got little sneak peeks of it in some gameplay, but it's one to keep an eye on for sure. So that one looks fire, still looks fire, as it has before. Warlock. This one is from Invoke Studios. This is a new D&D inspired, adjacent, whatever, D&D game where you play as a warlock, evidently. And I can unmute it too. Oh, right. It had very, very copyrighted music. But this is just a cinematic reveal. We got a lot of those this year. I don't really know why. It feels like every few years we kind of go through this wave where we get a lot of those. But they did say that a gameplay reveal is coming in the summer, probably at Summer Games Fest. So it's going to be interesting to see what this is. The team that did this previously did... they did another D&D game that didn't go over very well. Was it Dark Alliance or something like that? It was something like that. It was one that was not received very well. It had a lot of problems, but they did apparently a whole studio overhaul, rebranding, they restructured, they did a ton of stuff after Dark Alliance, I think is what it was called. But this is the game. This is the game. And I've heard through the grapevine that this is quite cool, but I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see, because without gameplay, I mean, there's just not a whole lot you can do about it, you know, not a whole lot you can do with it. One that was absolutely insane and that I still don't really understand what it is was Bradley the Badger. This one looks really good. I'm also thoroughly confused by it.
A new game. Okay, sunshine, check. Back, check. Time for a new platforming adventure. What?
My village was done. All I wanted was to go back home.
Badgerborn.
Tried exploring, did some jumping around, you know, the classics.
Like, it's crazy. I'm trying to figure out what it is. Like, I think it's just like a big platformer that has like a bunch of spiritual but like inspired levels from a bunch of different games, and then like really trippy mechanics like this. Either way, it looks fun, and it looks like kind of a love letter to gaming in a lot of funny, quirky ways. Like the Last of Us level, you know, it's cool. It's fun. So I think that's gonna be a fun one. It's crazy and ridiculous, but I do think that'll be fun. Let's see. Oh yeah, this one.
At Beerus8564 donated 10 euros through Super Chat. Hi Luke, I just joined but wanted to hear your opinion. Emo the Divinity reveal was way too early, as BG3 Patch 8 released only 8 months ago and this won't be out for some years. It is very early as far as we can tell. I think what it is it'll make it easier for them to hire and get talent, because they can talk about the game now. So, you know, they go out there, they say what they're making, they can hire people based off of that without having to be like, work on our up and coming mysterious game. So that's probably a lot of it. It's also fan service, just being like, look what we're working on. And here's the deal. A lot of studios will produce trailers kind of like that for tone setting. I consulted on a game years ago, and they had a trailer of like that. I wouldn't say that quite intense, but they had a cinematic trailer like that. They had hired somebody to make based on their artwork and story and everything. And they used that in the studio to like set the vibe and the tone for what they were doing. So a lot of studios will basically make stuff like that, maybe not to that extent, but they'll make stuff like that for setting the goal of like what they want to achieve. So it might just be that they were like, we're going to do something like this anyways. Let's just share it with the world too. Let's turn it into a trailer. Could be something like that. Baldur's Gate 3 announcement was in 2019. Well, the thing with Baldur's Gate 3 that I think they're doing differently this time is, of course, that was in early access. So people could play Act 1 and provide feedback and stuff. I don't think they're doing that with Divinity. I think that they're just doing a more traditional thing. So it's going to be very interesting to see how different it is, but either way, it was certainly early, it seems. As for this one, so Luke Smith says J.J. Abrams is the undisputed champion of mid. So this game, 4:loop, does seem to be a melding of a bunch of other kind of live service things. So it has the frozen statues of Suicide Squad. It appears to be a time loop game is how they're phrasing it, but I don't really understand how that's any different from any other live service game. Like they show you playing in teams, and then when you die, you get reprinted and you try again. That's basically like exactly what live service games are. Like, I don't really understand. It could be that this is like, it's a set world, and because it's a time loop game, as you go through, you level up. Eventually you can like defeat bosses and actually escape the time loop or something like that. Maybe that's what it is, and it has more of a structure and story to it. That could be interesting. It's still a strong ask to ask, you know, people to team up in parties of 4 and then play through like a 50-hour campaign, but people will do it if it's good enough. I still don't really understand what the game is. It does kind of just look like a amalgamation of a bunch of different live service games. Nothing particularly stunning or unique, but that's a thing, and J.J. Abrams is working on that if you happen to care. Lords of the Fallen 2, this one, like the gameplay they showed looks absolutely bonkers. Oh yeah, it's copyrighted. If they get to anywhere near this fidelity in the final launch, I mean, I'll be very impressed, because dude, this really does look very, very high fidelity across the board.
maybe this is their magnum opus and they just absolutely kill it. That's the hope, but time will tell. I know people had a lot of mixed feelings about the first game. Then they did a bunch of overhauls to it, and apparently it's way, way better now. But yeah, if they can achieve this level of fidelity, I'll tell you what, it could be special, but we'll see. We'll see. Keep an eye on it. There's a couple of other smaller announcements, like the Hitman crossover, the new Phasmophobia Switch 2 update. I don't know. I mean, what is there to say? One that was crazy was Gang of Dragon. This one was absolutely wild. I don't really know what to expect, but I do know that this guy has quite the screen presence.
Time to settle up.
Hey, Daiki. When'd you make it back?
Excuse me, sir. Shut your mouth.
All right. Talk soon.
On your feet, now. Son of a... Fuck it! Just kill him!
The production quality is crazy. The aura. So looks cool. Not much to go on. I mean, it's just, you know, cinematics basically. But I mean, at least in terms of aura, I'm in. He's wide. Yeah, dude is built like a brick, dude. Built like a brick. Speaking of being bricked up, I don't actually know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean it in a good way. Ontos. This one actually was one of the surprise hits for me. I didn't see this one coming. Published by Kepler. Absolutely crazy. Like absolutely crazy. And it has one of the shots that, like, again, is just stuck in my brain. From one of the creators or the creators of Soma.
What is existence?
Very Bioshocky,
really?
You know?
Surely a question without an answer. Your father thought he knew, and it inspired him to grant wishes.
Is that a nightmare? Yes!
That's why all of us are here. You want to understand, to know. Then you have to step beyond the walls around you. Play your father's game. Push the very limits until you're reality itself breaks.
I'm excited for that one. And again, previously their previous work of what was it? Soma. Mad trippy, very well written. I'm excited for this one. And again, some of these shots are very BioShock-esque. Like that, this one, very BioShocky, and then like the crazy horror also. That one is crazy. The one in the padded room. Yeah, dude missing the jaw. Where's the padded room? Dude, it looks really good. It looks really good. So that one I'm excited for as well. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. That's another one. I mean, these guys know what they're doing when it comes to like co-op action stuff with crazy amounts of gore and enemies on screen. It's probably good. Just turn off your brain, veg out kind of fun. But that's going to be a vibe. The Free Shepherd, this is that one you guys were talking about, the sheep herding game. Studio out of, I believe they said Burlington, Vermont. And this one also looks very cozy and relaxing. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Nikki's going to walk in the room. What are you doing, Luke? I'm herding sheep. What does it look like I'm doing? I'm very busy. I'm very busy. Come on. Another Souls-like one that we did see is a first-person Souls-like called Decrepit. And this one does also strike a particular vibe. It's very, very spoopy, very gross and icky. Very icky. But it does seem interesting. And, you know, first-person Souls-likes, I'm always intrigued by. They're tough to get right. Like, very tough to get right. Whoosh. But that's a vibe too. We'll see what that's like. Let's see. Bass Blade. We got that one. Stupid Never Dies. This was that like punk rock one. I don't even know what this even is, but that's a thing. So it's from guys, I think that worked on like Devil May Cry. I think they said, I don't know, it's one of those games. It seems like if it's your vibe, you're going to be all over it. If it's not your vibe, then you're going to kind of mentally check out. As for the next one, oh yeah, James Bond, arch nemesis. Lenny Kravitz will play an unpredictable pirate ruler of the criminal underground in Africa, according to the man himself, who joined the stage to present the award for best score and music. And honestly, like, I think he's probably a pretty solid casting. Bro's got stage presence out the ass.
Sometimes asked, Bafma, how is it that you hear every whisper in every corner of Aleph? And I answer, I built Aleph with my will, my blood, my whole self. This city is an extension of my being, my body. Today, it became infected. Easy, girls.
At Man191 donated $10 through Super Chat. Do you think the lack of Black Flag, Ubisoft is cost-cutting? All the shakeups that have happened with the company, or possibly being kind of salty about Expedition 33 doing so well?
No, to be clear, the Ubisoft connection to Expedition 33 has been grossly exaggerated, I think. I think, as far as I can tell, like, it looks like out of the 33 developers at Sandfall, 3 of them had prior experience at Ubisoft. If you watched some YouTube videos, though, you would think that it was like the whole studio left Ubisoft. Most of the people that worked on Expedition 33 had never worked on a game before. Their chief operations officer, I believe it is, like, his prior work was at a competitor to Uber in France that only used electric vehicles and promoted sharing rides as opposed to you taking a dedicated ride by yourself. But like, the point is, that was his prior experience, was in like an Uber competitor, not making video games. So to suggest that like they didn't show up at the Game Awards because they're bitter about Expedition, like, no. They had 20,000 employees. 3 of them left and at different stages to go do other things, and it's they don't care. As for why they weren't there, I mean, the stuff they have, I don't think is ready. And 2, the like, if it's true of all of these like studios, if you have like, for example, Fable, or if you have Elder Scrolls 6, or if you have Clockwork Revolution, for, you know, all of these Xbox projects, they could show them here, or they could show one thing here and then save the rest for their own show in June, where they don't have to pay Jeff $1 million, you know? Like, why not? Why not? Like, you show a little something if you need to, Everything else, do it your own show. It's the same thing that happened with E3, dude. Like with E3, everybody was just kind of sick of paying E3 ridiculous amounts of money to be in their show and to be on their show floor. And so they just started doing their own thing. And then all of a sudden, people just stopped going because all of like Ubisoft stuff is over in that building. Xbox's stuff was over in that building. PlayStation's over in that building. Nintendo's over there. Like, there's no reason to go. There's no reason to go. Ad Hoc, they were crap, what's the studio name? Telltale. They were former Telltale guys. Like Ubisoft with 20,000 employees, there's going to be some overlap with some of the studios, but the kind of story sounds really good. It's the same thing like Sandfall is 33 people. Expedition 33 was not made by 33 people. The story's really good, which is why people like to run with it and go, oh, it's made by 33 people. It was made by 33 people and hundreds of contractors. So, you know, it's like sometimes the story takes over above and beyond what like the actual truth of it is. And I don't think the studio would deny any of it. They'd be like, no, yeah, we used a lot of contracted workers and very talented people. It was not just us 33 people at all. It wasn't, you know. It also like we're not a team that like all left Ubisoft together to go make this game. Like, no, I worked at a printing company before this, you know. Sometimes people care more about the story than they do about what's actually, you know, true, I guess. With this though, going back to Lenny Kravitz, I do think Lenny Kravitz is gonna be an interesting choice. I think he gives me that bad guy from, I'm blanking on the name again. Bad guy from Far Cry 4. Pagan Min, was that what it is? Something like that. Yeah, Pagan Min. Yeah, he gives me those vibes in a good way. We'll see how it plays out across the whole game, but yeah, I think that's going to be interesting. Street Fighter movie. I'm sure some people care and are excited, but not my particular thing. This one, Orbitals. This one actually I do think it's going to be fun. It is basically split fiction, but with a Studio Ghibli art style, and it looks like a vibe, dude. It looks like a vibe. I need more couch co-op split screen games. This one looks particularly fun, so I'm excited for that one. That one's going to be cool. We got that announced. Out of Words, also, this is like a handmade claymation video game. I don't even know how you begin to do that. It breaks my brain how you would even do that, but they've managed to do it. So it's a stop motion video game.
What were your names again? Well, I can't call you and can I?
This is crazy. I don't even know how they begin to do that, but that one's also fire. Co-op games need more love. Glad to see it. The one that broke the internet was this Mega Man reveal, dude. Again, I knew at some point Mega Man was coming, and then when it became clear what it was, like Jeff had to know. The giveaway up here is like up on the screens. You can see that they have like 1987, 1988. So like they have little bitty snippets that you could connect the dots on if you really knew your like Mega Man release schedules and lore. Otherwise, I think it's fair that most people watched this and thought that it was going to be Half-Life. Dude, we had 10,000 people in here and the chat was insane. People like, oh my God, it's actually happening. Half-Life is happening. Because Jeff led into it with, it's a franchise that people who have been playing games for decades know and love and all that. So everybody, I think, was justified in getting super hyped. And then you see it's Mega Man, and you're like, okay, I guess. But I think it definitely didn't match what people expected. And, maybe Jeff was intentionally baiting it, or he just honestly was like presenting it the best way he thought he could. And maybe it's us in our bubble that we didn't connect with Mega Man, because I'm sure there were people out there watching this, and when he said like a franchise people have known and played for decades. I'm sure that like a lot of people out there were like, oh, what if it's Mega Man? I don't know, but
I've been asking Capcom for years. This was the year, and 2027 cannot come soon enough. And even got a very early glimpse at first gameplay. The team really wanted to share that with you tonight to show the classic 2D style that they're returning to. Coming up, Game of the Year.
So I think Jeff, he might have known. He might have known. But either way, there you go. There you go. Maybe it's just our bubble that we don't connect with it, but that was funny. One of the most insane ones that I didn't see coming at all.
Something completely unexpected.
Completely unexpected. Yeah, this one, you watch it, and I did not see this coming at all. Like, it's got sort of Subnautica vibes, but you're like, okay. And then, like, you crash on this, like, crazy alien planet. It looks graphically stunning. It's spooky and gross. You're just like, what on earth? Dude. A false Hydra. Dude. I think the audience's reaction is fair. Everybody's like, what? What? I did not see that coming. I was like, I would not have guessed The Forest 3. Like that's not what I saw coming, but a fresh take, a different angle. I like it. Ace Combat 8. This one also just
of the FCU.
Production quality looks really, really good. I mean, I think this one is going to be interesting to see. It seems very, very high production value, and I like me some flying games, tell you what. You guys said that I was weird. I told you guys that like I play Microsoft Flight Simulator when I'm about to travel somewhere, to like fly over the place and like look around to get a lay of the land and a feel for it. Because I was going to Copenhagen for a trip, and so I wanted to see what it was like. So I got in like a little biplane in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I flew around Copenhagen to look around. And you guys were like, bro, that's weird. I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, that's weird, Luke. Okay, Mr. Mo, I don't know what to tell you. I think that's very normal. I think it's resourceful, frankly. Justifiable nerd activity. Thank you. See, it's okay if it's nerdy and like weird, not weird. See, even I'm calling myself weird. It's okay if it's nerdy. I'm okay with that. I don't think it's like a weird thing to do. I think if people knew that they could do that, they would do it, you know? Special. Okay, I'll take special. I can take special. I can take special. But okay. We got to mention this one now. Okay, the main one, the big one, the Game Awards. Okay. We got to talk about this one. So all of the show built up, of course, to the end of the show where they announced Game of the Year. But prior to that, Jeff led into a final announcement, making it clear that it was the final announcement. Okay. So this was not like, I think, too confusing. They also had a couple of other smaller things like this solo leveling Arise Overdrive. So they had some like that, but then we get to this. Okay. This is how Jeff leads it in. Some of you were saying in chat that when you saw this, you thought it might be Elder Scrolls. Which honestly, I think if you see this and you're like, fantasy, we're on a coast, you might miss like the blimp looking thing, airship. Like that's, probably not Elder Scrolls. Maybe it is, but I could see how somebody could see this and be like, maybe. It's the last thing. Everybody knows you save your best for last. Right? Right, Jeffrey? Right? But it shows this.
You know, sometimes our last reveal at the Game Awards is a teaser for something years and years away.
Jeffrey. I was like, are they about to shadow drop something? Are they about to like I was trying to figure it out.
At Mondo Merc 18 donated $10 through Super Chat. I got Total War 40K, Fate of the Old Republic, new Larian announcement, free E33 DLC, and drunk, so I personally had a great time.
And drunk. Well, that sounds awesome. And to be clear, the point I'm about to make over the course of the next elongated section is that it was a good show. It was a good show. I think that this reveal just shows how crucial ordering and pacing is. Because I'm a firm believer, if they had shown what we're about to see early in the show, and they like swapped places with the Larian game. Larian finishes the show. This is early on. I don't think any of this discourse would be happening. I think the specific problem is that they set this up as like the one last amazing thing, because the last announcement is supposed to be like the big thing. It's supposed to be your best foot forward. Like, this is how you're finishing the show. This is how you're leaving them. And that raises the bar and raises the expectation. And it doesn't just raise the bar and expectation in the context of the show. It also raises the expectation for the game itself, which is why people like online have been saying, I think Jeff might have just killed this game. They might not be wrong. That game being the final thing has put so much attention on it that I think it's actually going to be significantly harder for it to break in. At least there's a lot of name recognition right now, but still, like, I think they are fighting an extra uphill battle now because there's a lot of negativity around it, because it was the last thing, and most people feel that it didn't really deserve it. So Jeff leads into it by saying that this was the last thing. It's typically when we're about to show the last thing at the Game Awards. So this is the last thing is what he's claiming. So people's expectations are raising. This is how you're going to finish the show. So that's the first staging. Then he says, we usually show something that's years away. Oh, so this isn't. This is going to be immediate. So again, expectations are rising even further. Okay.
Not tonight. Our final world premiere comes from 61 members of the team that built Apex Legends and Titanfall.
When I heard that, I was like, huh? Okay. What are we doing? And because for one, 61 developers is a fairly intimate team. It's fairly small, by modern standards at least. And former Titanfall and Apex Legends devs. So people were thinking maybe this is a spiritual successor to Titanfall or something.
4 years ago, the principals founded a new independent studio with the hopes of pushing the shooter genre forward with a new original game.
Shooter genre forward with a new original game. So already people are like, okay, maybe it's a Titanfall spiritual successor. That, I think, is what a lot of people started clicking and thinking.
Done it in complete secrecy, which is even more amazing because the game is very deep into development. The power of independent self-published studios to push...
Dude, one of the most savage comments we read last night was on the official YouTube page for this trailer. And the guy simply quoted Jeff and said, they've done it in complete secrecy. And he just said, it didn't leak because nobody even cared enough to leak it. I was like, oh my God, dude, you just gutted him in front of his family. Like, what on earth? Savage, dude, savage. But what's crazy is that
Gabriel Mays 9,872 donated $10 through Super Chat.
Not wrong.
Why do you think so many people are upset at Expedition 33 winning everything?
I think it was just like very predictable. And I you know, there's some little awards where I think that personally, I think there was a better alternative. Like, I personally think that KCD2 should have won Best RPG. And because KCD2 is such a different RPG than Expedition is, I feel like they're not even competing in the same category. So that one just felt weird. So there's some of that. And it's also, People like to be contrarians, you know. Everybody's rooting for Expedition 33 when it's competing against Ghost of Yotei, you know, the big AAA thing from Sony. But when it wins everything, it's like, okay, so now they're at the top, so now it's easier to go out of. So, you know, it's probably just being silly, but you know, they deserve a lot of the wins. I just think RPG should have gone to KCD2. Personally, just my opinion. Cancel me, I don't care. Anyway, continuing on. So you can see how the expectations have been raised higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. And then he's going to lead into what the game actually is.
This medium forward is a growing and I think positive theme in our industry. And so tonight, you're not only going to get the announcement of the game, but also your first look at the gameplay.
And again, like that's framed as like some big thing. A lot of the games we saw tonight showed gameplay for the first time with the trailer. So it's like, is this really that special?
I've played it, and after you see this trailer, I think you're going to want to as well. Welcome to Highguard.
So going into this, we were like, what? This is the last reveal? Because already I'm like, it's not what I would have expected. Like, this is as the final reveal. I'm like, okay, but then it's revealed very quickly that this is a multiplayer live service game. And it was like, oh. And you can tell by the audience. Did you hear how slow the clap started?
Welcome to Highguard.
Into lands uncharted.
Immediately saw the haircut. Like I said earlier in the stream, you see the haircut, you know it's live service. You know, there's the live service due. I don't know what it is, but bro, so many of these games, like it's also the girls that have also like the pixie cut high and tight. I don't know what it is, but live service games have like 3 haircuts they share for everybody, and it's so funny to me. I don't know what the meta is, why they all have the same haircuts, but that's just how it is. It's weird. But they show this, okay.
And dangers untold.
The airship coming in, okay.
I venture without fear. And ride without rest.
Horses.
For coin or for cause.
And so then they show this. Now, all last night, I was trying to figure out what on earth is like specific and fresh about this, because they said they wanted to push the shooting genre forward. And I failed, even now, I failed to see what is unique about this. It appears that literally it's the horses. A new breed of shooter. I think they mean the horses. I think you guys are right. Because other than that, like everything we see is extremely standard. It's possible. It's also, people say that it looks like it also has MOBA elements. So it's like a MOBA inspired hero shooter. Is that really enough to like make this pop off? Like it looks like, people said Valorant. It doesn't look like Valorant to me, because again, like characters are moving while they're shooting. So this is not like a tactical shooter in the same way that like Valorant is. It looks to me like Concord with horses. Like, and I'm sorry if that's reductive or like mean, but like, bro, it just does. If it looks like a quack, I can't talk. It broke my brain. If it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, and certainly if it looks like a quack, it's probably a freaking duck, you know? And in this case, if it looks like a Concord and plays like a Concord and is marketed like a Concord, where everybody's acting like it's the second coming, and then it just seems like the most generic thing ever, like that's literally an ability from Valorant. Whatever the chick is with the blades, like this is straight up a Cassidy animation and archetype. Like I just don't understand what is so special about it. I guess maybe the destruction. You can break some buildings apart. I hate to break it to you. That's been a thing in a lot of games. Like, yeah, Jet, that's it. Play free January 26, 2026. Like, I just don't understand. And then, like, we come back to Jeff, and this is how he frames it.
Crazy, that's right. Highguard. Pretty crazy, that's right. Highguard launches in just 7 weeks on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. It is insanely fun to see, fun to play, as you saw in that trailer. And now it's time for our final award. Last year, Astrobot took home Game of the Year.
And then he goes straight into Game of the Year award, and that's it. Like, I don't understand it. It feels very out of touch to think that that would excite people, you know, to feel like that would get people giddy. I just don't think that that connects with people in the same way that like a big reveal typically does. Again, like how they finished it in 2024 was by bringing out, let's see, 2024 official live stream. Black Myth Wukong.
The people.
Like, how did Jeff introduce this one last year? Hold on.
Has been hard at work in.
This is how he introduced it last year.
Now, because tonight is such a special show, we do have one more thing. One of our industry's most celebrated developers has been hard at work in complete secrecy, building a brand new original world unlike anything they've done before. What you're about to see is captured entirely in the game engine. And we're happy to share with you tonight's final world premiere at the 10th anniversary of the Game Awards.
So he frames it in a very similar way, but in this case, it was a studio that was like one of the industry's most celebrated, whereas this year it was a brand new studio nobody's ever heard of. Like, it starts, and I think this is the reason why it started to tick people off last night, because it felt undeserved. You know, that final slot in the show is typically what's reserved for showcasing something from like From Software, Naughty Dog, you know, like a studio that has been making world-class games for a decade or 2 decades, you know? And so to lead off with a studio nobody's ever heard of, and it's a hero shooter live service, it feels like it was bought. You know, it feels like they just had the biggest stack of cash, which is why they got to put their game there.
At Chavanbus1759 donated $10 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
I was browsing the PS Store and saw the game Predecessor and legit thought they released Hiking Card early.
Hiking Card early. Hold on, what's that one? You said it's called Predecessor. Okay. So it's also like a mobile or a MOBA thing. Might end up playing similarly. I will say Highguard does look better than this, like graphically, but it does look like a very different type of game. That's funny though. But the point is, this is how like they let into it, and I know there's gonna be people that are freaking out because like I'm suggesting that Intergalactic's reveal is a big deal. It is. Like, it is. It's from freaking Naughty Dog, dude. Like, do you have any idea who you're talking about? Like, it's Naughty Dog. Oh, but I didn't like how they killed Joel. It's Naughty Dog. It's a big reveal to get their game at the Game Awards. That's a big deal. It's a big reveal, a big get, you know? Even if you don't like the games, it's a big get. And so to put a game nobody's ever heard of, or a game from a studio nobody's ever heard of in that slot, I think naturally left people feeling kind of surprised. Now, their approach for marketing this is going to be interesting. It's set for release in January. I think they're going to be doing play tests and stuff. But I mean, even now, dude, the official page has 567 subscribers. It just feels like one of those games that, I'm sorry, these random pictures of Jeff are just so funny to me. I'm sorry, it's just I do like me some random pictures of Jeff. you know, it just feels I can't even look at it. I'm sorry. It just I think again, the game probably is not bad. It probably is pretty solid. Even Concord, this is gonna come as a shock. I played Concord. I'm one of the people that did. Concord was not like a poorly made game. The problem was it just came out like 5-6 years too late. Oh wait, it's another. I think I still have 2024 playing. I think Concord released like half a decade too late. If it had released in like 2018, I think it would have popped off, but it just released way too late. And I think that this is one of those things where like it's probably a really solidly put together game. Talented devs, like they know what they're doing, but it's not what people wanted out of the final announcement. And I think it's also just when you hype something up so much, if it doesn't meet that standard to people immediately, they kind of flip and become antagonistic towards it, which I think is what's happening now. Unfortunately for them, like I think that because of where they announced it and how they announced it, it set those expectations really high. Now, my understanding is that this is going to be free to play, so people will be able to try it for free. That will help it a lot stand a chance. It's still an uphill battle, but at least that will help it, as opposed to what like Concord did, where they tried to charge $40 for it, which I think was a mistake. So I think that they stand a better chance of finding some success, but it's going to be really interesting to see if it's still going next year. But even now, like I'm pretty sure Moist Critical just made a video on this game, I think. Oh yeah, literally it's in the recommended. Look, like he already just made a video. What did he say?
And there was a stat that chat was regurgitating that I didn't believe. I thought it was so outlandish they must have escaped from a mental institution and were spewing a bunch of mumbo jumbo until I checked and verified the last night was the Game Awards 15. And there was and verified the authenticity. The claim was that last year's Game Awards had higher viewership than the Super Bowl. And I said, well, that's a bunch of fiddlesticks. No way. Super Bowl had like 120-something million viewers. It was like the most watched Super Bowl ever. No way the Game Awards beat that. Turns out it did. Jeff Keighley hung his hog on the Super Bowl numbers. 154 million.
Hung his hog. That's a good term. I might have to use that. That's crazy. Higher viewership than the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm sure they're also including, across all channels worldwide. So that also includes people like me who are co-streaming it. Also included there, but that's crazy.
Million global viewers. Now, Super Bowl is an event that mainly only Americans care about. I get that. Game Awards is international, but even still, those numbers blew my fucking mind, blew my ass out. So it is like a super big deal, and I watch the Game Awards every year, but had no idea it was this big. And now that I have this knowledge locked away in the old steel trap up here, it makes the Game Awards final reveal from last night even more odd, just peculiar, because it is a blunder. That is the most important final reveal. And last night, boy howdy did that one fall flat, unfortunately. And I know a lot of people have criticized Jeff Keighley, like playfully teasing about how he'll overhype things that don't warrant that level of glaze or, anticipation, where Jeff Keighley will sometimes, get you like biting your nails like, holy shit, what's he about to reveal? Because he's hyping it up so much. Like, in my numerous decades in the industry, I've never been this excited. This is my honor, my privilege. This is the apotheosis of gaming. I present to you the world premiere for The Poop That Took a Pee 2. As he's starting to get like tears in his eyes.
The Poop That Took a Pee by Leopold Butterscotch. I will say he did get me last night. There was one announcement where Jeff got me good. I thought I knew exactly what he was about to do, and bro, he got me so good.
All right, we have many more.
It was this one.
I'd like to welcome back an icon, a legend who pushes entertainment forward with each of their new projects. Someone I consider a dear friend.
You're like Kojima. It's Kojima. It's got to be, right?
Friend of the show. Please welcome Miss Piggy.
At Edgar Vasquez 9580 donated $10
like
through Super Chat. I heard that Jeff is charging $450K to advertise your game at the Game Awards. You think the last spot is worth more, thus having that wet fart of a game last?
You think the last spot is worth more, thus having that wet fart of a game last? I think so. It was reported by Kotaku, is what you're referring to, that I believe it was 60-second spot was $450. All the way up to a 3-minute trailer, including the like announcement and lead-in. A 3-minute trailer is like over $1 million. That's what was reported by Kotaku, at least. And let me be clear. Let me defend Jeff on this. These shows are stupid expensive, okay? They're renting out the Peacock Theater. They're hiring Miss Piggy. They're flying in like those movie stars or whatever. I'm sure they're flying in, probably, right? Or maybe the studio is paying for them to go in. Who knows? But this is a very expensive show, and like the infrastructure to do it is ridiculous. Okay, so I'm not saying that Jeff should be charging $10. They have to pay for the show somehow. I get that. I think the unfortunate reality is that it also can sometimes price out some studios from even attending. Notably, like Expedition 33, they reportedly bought a lot of the tickets that they had in those front rows. They bought them for like $300 to $400 a piece because they wanted more of the studio to attend. And so it starts to feel very corporate and very much like a money-making operation as opposed to just being about the games. And I think that's a feeling that's happened many times. Like 2 years ago, one of the shows was like, they had a whole section where like every trailer was for like mobile gacha games and like NFT games. It just felt weird. It felt gross and like inappropriate. And so I think that this is like a recurring theme that people throw a fit about for sure. But I do think it's they got to pay for it somehow. They have to find a way to pay the bills. That being said, I think that's also part of the reason why people were looking at that announcement for High Guard so critically to start, because it doesn't make sense that that's what Jeff would put last unless you look at it through the lens of maybe they just paid a crap ton of money to get that final spot. And they're like, we want everybody to be paying attention to our trailer, so let's do it. Now, a fair counter is people saying, do they even have the money to do that? That is actually like a very legitimate thing to bring up, I think. Wildlight is the studio. If we go to their website, I don't see a partnered publisher. All of their contact stuff is through their own company. So maybe they got outside investment or something. But like, if we're talking about a $2-3 million trailer, do they really have the money to do that? It's possible that Jeff really did think that this was going to like pop off and was going to be the coolest announcement to finish the show, which to me seems crazy when you have Larian's next game and you did that statue thing. But it's potentially the case that like Jeff actually thought that that was the best game to finish the show with. I don't know. As far as I can tell, it's either that Jeff just grossly misunderstood the audience, misread the audience, or they paid the most for it. I don't know. Also, holy God, where can I get that statue? Do you see that statue? It's the Dark Souls 3. What's his name? Is it? I don't think that's Simon. It looks like Nameless King. Yeah, thank you. It looks like Nameless King, does it not? Maybe it's not. It looks like Nameless King. Because that's the dragon, I think. It looks really cool. Whatever that statue is. It looks really cool. I think he has the same Titus statue I have. That one right there, I think, is that statue. Right there. Behind Todd. I think it's the same one. It looks like the same. He has the hammer and he's stomping on the... Yeah, I think it's the same one. Anyway. Sorry. Got distracted. Sorry, not sorry. So... Oh, I'm gonna have to refresh. Sorry. The YouTube chat struggles sometimes. And now they paid $1 million for an almost entirely negative comment section. Some people are tone deaf to the wants of the public. Well, I mean, it does feel kind of weird. Like one of the things I talked about the other day was like the colossal flop of King of Meat, and Trevor clipped it and did a very good job with it. It's on Luke Stevens Clips, which if you're not subbed to the third channel, check it out, because Trevor's been killing it over there. Small segments that don't make it into the live channel or main channel end up over here, and Trevor does a great job cutting these together. But basically, like with this one, it was a game I tried at Summer Games Fest. I thought it was fine. It just was way too easy, so it felt like a kid's game. And so the way that they chose to market it for its launch in October was to announce it and release it with the help of Mr. Beast. So they spent God knows how many millions of dollars hiring Mr. Beast to bring all of these like 30, 40 something year old influencers who typically play Roblox and Minecraft, brought them all together into this custom built studio where they all played the game together. This video did like 7 million views, and like, no joke, I showed in the clip, they ended up, their developers, so the executives of the studio said they expected 100,000 concurrent players. They ended up with a peak of 320. And that wasn't even the day of the Mr. Beast collab. The Mr. Beast collab was right here. They gained 50 players on Steam from a 7 million view Mr. Beast video. Like, that's bad. They wanted this number to be 100,000. That's crazy. That's crazy. But I think that this is part of the problem, is that some of these people that they hire for marketing do not understand the gaming industry, because they thought that Mr. Beast would like lead them to the players they needed. They didn't need the Roblox kids to play their game. They're playing Roblox. They didn't need the Minecraft kids to come over and play. They're playing Minecraft, and you're not going to get them to leave to come play this. They needed the people with expendable income who are looking for a fun party game with their friends. But they totally misunderstood. I think it's a little botted. I mean, bro, I didn't say that Mr. Beast's views are botted. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that when you read the comment section, it all seems to be AI comments. I didn't say that. You said that. Cancel me. I don't care. But like, literally 7 million view video, they got 50 players from it. And I think that this is part of the problem, is that there's just such a fundamental disconnect between some of these marketing people and the actual gaming community, that it leads to ridiculous amounts of wasted money and resources, and also the developers' time. Like, the developers that worked on King of Meat, they put together a solid game. Like, it was pretty good. It was clever. I just think it needed to be harder, because when we played it, it was just, there was no challenge. And so it felt like a game for kids, which I think is what they were trying to build. But I think if they had been in touch with like actual feedback from players, I think they would have realized, we're not going to win against Roblox. We should reorient and rebuild the game to try and build it for an older audience and make it more difficult, more challenging, and then market it not through Mr. Beast, but through somebody else, or some other way that will be a better use of money. But instead, they wasted millions and millions of dollars on that, and it ended up the way that it did. And so it sucks that, you know, a very talented group of developers can have years of their work basically wasted because some marketing people don't know what they're doing. But that is a story as old as time, unfortunately. And in this case, I think what Charlie's going to touch on is precisely that the choice to put Highguard in the final spot, I think, was such a tactical miscalculation that it probably did the game a lot more harm than good.
I think he oversold this one a bit, to be honest with you. Though, one that people point to is from last year where he revealed Okami. I do not think that's a good example of that, because that is not overhyped. That genuinely is extremely exciting. I fucking love Okami and cannot wait for the new Okami. But he does have a history of doing that occasionally, and last night was one of those examples for the final reveal.
Our final world premiere comes from 61 members of the team that built Apex Legends and Titanfall. 4 years ago, the principals founded a new independent studio with the hopes of pushing the shooter genre forward with a new original game.
If that doesn't put a boner in your trousers, nothing will. You cannot have a more hype introduction than that right there. Those sentences alone could make the Grinch's heart grow 3 sizes. And when I was watching this live, I actually thought for a moment we might be seeing a Titanfall 3, or at the very least a spiritual successor to Titanfall. But that's where they get you. Jeff.
Yeah, I think everybody thought that. I think it's pretty clear that's what's being suggested.
Scotchy eating out of the palm of his hands right now. You're hook, line, and sinker buying into this delusion. Like I have said for a long time, we will probably not see a Titanfall 3. Unfortunately, I think EA is going to Kegel on that property forever and never use it for anything ever again, because they didn't perform financially well for them. Even though these games are beloved, I don't think we'll ever see a new entry into this franchise.
Yeah,
but I really was.
Well, it's people love Titanfall 2, but it didn't, as far as I'm aware, I don't think it sold well, didn't it? My understanding is it didn't sell well, and so that's all they care about. They're like, yeah, talk about how much you love it online. Should have bought it. think that's what EA's doing.
Starting to buy into the fantasy here, because he's mentioning that a lot of people responsible for those masterpieces have broken off and are now pursuing something new together. And you're expecting like maybe it's in a similar vein to Titanfall. You know, Professor Utonium's in the lab and he's putting together all the ingredients of the perfect little shooter. But that wasn't what was on the menu.
Sure wasn't. Thank you for the super chat about Directive. I'll talk about that after we get through this. Don't worry. I'll get to it. Got you.
Instead, what was served up on the plate was a seemingly standard hero shooter. Now, I always have a great time watching the Game Awards. This year, I also had a lot of fun watching it. I just really don't understand why they would save this game as their final reveal, which is like always the most important reveal because it's the one that sticks with the viewers the longest.
It's the biggest,
usually reserved for the one that's going to fucking have them, gushing grannies. And having a generic hero shooter be in that place feels really odd, and a lot of people have been kind of clowning on it for it.
Bring the heat.
The light belongs to me. Warning.
I mean, Concord with horses
Velvet
isn't
Patterns
crazy, I
donated
think.
20 euros through Super Chat. Is there a more locked down market than the games for kids market? Fortnite and Roblox have the mainstream market locked down. Warzone has the stragglers, and the rest of the child audience are vested in random
PC games. I think so. Like a lot of it is that, like, shocker, kids don't have $60, $70 or $40 or $30. They don't have expendable income because they're children. And the parents know that too. And the parents have become accustomed to the kids just playing the free games with their friends. Like, maybe they have a Game Pass subscription or something for their kid. But it's not like they have a monthly allowance to buy new premium live service experiences, So those younger kids are going to stick with what they know. And that's the crazier thing. King of Meat's a $30 game. So they're trying to appeal to like the Roblox crowd and the Fortnite crowd with a $30 premium game. Like, what? Like, again, I feel like anybody could have told them, what are you doing? This will not work. But they have, like, I'm sure 15 slideshows from some marketing firm that they hire that says, well, actually, we think that the market crossover between Roblox and Fortnite is actually at 16%. And if we can come in and claim 4% of market share, this game will be worth $13 billion and be the next Star Wars. And it's like, stop it. It reminds me so often of that Jeff Bezos quote where he said, often if the data and the anecdote disagree, the anecdote is right and something's wrong with the data, either how it's collected or how it's being interpreted. But if the data and anecdote disagree, usually the anecdote's right. And if in this case they have all this data to suggest that King of Meat's actually going to be really successful, that actually look at all the people playing Marvel Rivals, look at all the people playing Overwatch. If we can get just 5% of those people, we have a successful game. We're popping off. But they're using all this data and they're using all of these different crossing over demographics to try and justify it, when the anecdote from everybody else is just like, yeah, I think that the hero shooter genre is overdone. I think it's oversaturated. I don't think we need a new one. Like, if they just listened to that, it would have, I think, saved a lot of time and headaches and a lot of money. But again, I think it's also exacerbated by the fact that they announced this when they did at the last slot. I think that changes the expectations.
It does give me a similar vibe to Concord when that was revealed, unfortunately. And a lot of people have taken to calling this Concord 2. Even though the game's not out or anything yet, it does kind of have a lot of similar DNA to it from the look of the gameplay here. And it just feels like a game that shouldn't have been saved for last as like the big hoorah. This should have just been a game that they show somewhere in the middle or towards the beginning where it's like, hey, this game's also right around the corner if you want another hero shooter, like if you're really salivating for more hero shooter action.
Yeah, and if they kind of owned it, and if they were like, yeah, we have something, these guys are from, like, they worked on Apex, they worked on Titanfall, shooting mechanics are great, it's free to play, check it out. If they had done that earlier in the show, no problem. Like, seriously, the poll from Jeff was 37% of people voted a D or below for the Game Awards, which I think is crazy because they had a lot of really good stuff in the show. But I think it literally is just that because people, like, that's how they were left, and that was the last bite of the meal they had, they kind of forgot about everything else. You know, you have a great steak, it's wonderful, it's delicious, well cooked across the board, but then that last bite is just gristle. It just leaves not a bad taste in your mouth. It still tastes delicious, but it feels like, oh man, you know, it just doesn't click.
Here comes High Guard. Like that.
And then you eat shit for dessert. Exactly, Kinomask. Exactly.
Like that makes sense. It just doesn't really compute why they would have this be the final reveal. I think what would have fit here best actually was the Star Wars KOTOR game.
Yeah.
They have a new KOTOR,
FOTOR, or the Larian game could have been really, really cool. Either of those as the final announcement would have popped off, dude.
coming out called Fate of the Old Republic, and that was extremely hype. I think if they had saved Fate of the Old Republic for the final reveal, that would have been a big pop-off moment, because that is something that a ton of people, myself included, cannot wait for. And now I need to go back and replay KOTOR 1 and 2, because it is so cool. That is something people have really wanted. Whereas with High Guard, I feel like there's more people asking for the common cold than more hero shooters. And especially from such a talented team that have put together games like Titanfall, you would hope that they'd spread their wings a bit more than just like a hero shooter game. So it's just one of those things that is...
Well, I think what it is like studios struggle to find funding unless you go to a publisher and say, we're making like the next hero shooter. Do you remember the Kroby Cat video when he was talking, or when he clipped Lawbreakers?
From a mental institution and...
Whoops, I hit play accidentally. Lawbreakers. In this, there's a moment where Cliff sits down and says,
archetypes that other shoot. I went around and met with EA, Activision, and Ubisoft, and I put the book down and I'd be like,
I want to make the next $1 billion IP.
I want to make another $1 billion IP.
That's how you get funding. That's how you get funding. You say, oh, we want to make a narrative shooter that takes DNA from Titanfall 2 and the old Halo games, and we want to put it in a pro-consumer package with no microtransactions that just focuses on player fun and engagement. Who's going to give you money? Who's going to give you $50 million? Nobody. But if you say we're going to try to make Overwatch, we're going to try to make the replacement for Tarkov, we're going to try to, you know, if you come out and you say, look at this live service game that makes ridiculous money, we're going to do that, but make more money than them. Then you'll see a lot of venture capital guys and publishers throwing money at you because, yeah, it's only like a 5% chance that it works. But the payoff with that 5% chance is so great that it's worth gambling. The risk outweighs, or the potential reward outweighs the risk. And I think that's how this ends up. It's like, why don't they spread their wings and fly a little bit more? Why don't they try new things? It's literally because the only way to get money to make the game is by doing this.
EA, Activision, and Ubisoft, and I put the book down and I'd be like, I want to make another $1 billion IP.
That's what it takes. So, yeah, I think that's why they don't experiment more.
Is underwhelming for a final game reveal. Anyway, though, I had a great time watching the Game Awards, as I do every year. It's become a tradition, and I always think Jeff Keighley and his team put on a really impressive and really entertaining show, and I really appreciate all the hard work that goes into it. Though I will say, I think this year there is a lesson to be learned in the amount of nominations a game can get. With the E33 sweep, I do think there maybe needs to be some kind of limitations in place. I said from the second
one very valid, and I want to know what you guys think about this in chat. One I think interesting pitch was that some people said that they should, if you're nominated for Game of the Year, there's like a limitation where you can only be nominated for one other subcategory or no subcategory. Because naturally, if you're the best Game of the Year, you probably also have like the best music. You probably also have the best action adventure game within that subset. Like, it's weird if a game wins Game of the Year, but it doesn't win best action adventure. You know, of course it's going to win. I thought it was the best game, which means if it wins best Game of the Year, it also is better than all the other games in its subcategories. You know, the one exception being like with music, you could technically have the best game, but maybe not the best music, you know, so I could see that. But it gets tough because otherwise you just end up with a lot of games that sweep with some years, which could be like, it can be frustrating. The flip side of it is to just say it was like the best game. It had the best music. It had the best gameplay. It had the best this and that. Why not reward it for everything, you know? I would say, like, I'm more inclined to just be like, let it ride. Let it ride. You know, if a game is so good that it sweeps, great. You know, you're encouraging games to be that good, you know? But I can understand why people are frustrated by it, you know, by the sweeps. But that's just what happens. That's what happens. I do think overall, again, it was a very good show, and I think they had a lot of really good, really fun announcements. I think it literally, like, most of the complaints right now could have been fixed if they just rearranged a couple of the announcements. As for why they did it the way that they did, the only reason I can think of is that they just had the fatter stack of cash, but I don't know where that money is coming from. Because again, when you pull up the website for the studio, they don't have a publisher listed. And so I don't know where the money would be coming from, which makes me think that it probably, like, it very well could have just been that Jeff thought that that was like the biggest game to finish the show with, which seems insane to me. But maybe he honestly thought that this was like the biggest game to finish. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't get it. But I think the message has been received loud and clear. I mean, at this point, I want to see the Twitter comments. I mean, I don't want to encourage people to be like toxic. Like, these are passionate devs working on a great game. It's not their fault, as far as I can tell, that they were put where they were and that set expectations falsely. I think people's frustrations with the game at this point are not just for the game. It's also because of what people feel like was not put in its place. You know, I didn't get the big announcement I wanted because you were there, when it's not actually, you know, connected in that way. It's like they didn't do anything. They're not the reason why you didn't get Half-Life 3, you know? Like, that was a different thing. They have dirt on Jeff. They have the pictures of him with Miss Piggy. They have the pictures. They threatened to share them with Kojima. Oh man, can't believe we saw Jor. Yeah, like I showed you guys, Jor sent me the videos from the studio, or from the studio. Oh god, I'm sorry. He sent me the videos of them in their seats at the front of the stage. So this was where they were sitting. On the left side of the stage, we saw his dome, and then it flips, so it mirrors the video. But yeah, he was sitting next to Redberry. I knew, I could tell them. I was like, that's the back of their head, I can see. But look at that. There are crazy cool shows. It's just, it's really fun to co-stream it. I'm gonna be real. It's really fun. Let's see. I think if you're nominated for Game of the Year, then categories like RPG and action games should be restricted, but not things like art direction or music. Okay, so restrict RPG, maybe action adventure games, stuff like that. But then, like, the problem with restricting them is that it just feels weird, because it's like, say Baldur's Gate 3 launches again, and then you restrict it and you cut them out so they can't win RPG of the year. It's the best RPG of the year. Like, everybody would agree it's the best RPG of the year, but it can't win best RPG of the year because it's restricted, you know? It just, I think you're right. The spins, is that what it is? Yeah, the spins. I think you're right. It just opens a whole new can of worms where people would complain about that, you know? I think that's the problem, is that any attempt to fix it, as far as I've been able to tell and hear, it just sounds like you fix one problem, but then you introduce 10 others that don't actually make anybody happy, you know? It doesn't actually fix anything. Let's see. Let's see, I read that one. Jay Lil, are you excited for Directive 8020? I don't know if I'm excited. I like their stuff, but when I've tried Directive 8020, I have found it, I tried it at Summer Games Fest. I found it wanting, and the writing wasn't great. Like, you know, there's some basic stuff where you're like, are people actually like that? You know, like, what are we doing? like specifically the trailer that we got and one of the scenes we saw had like two of the characters sitting across from each other at dinner. Is this the trailer with it? B-roll maybe? And like they're sitting across from each other to like mourn, I guess, her father that he used to work with. And I'm trying to find this one very particular clip. I'm not seeing it. And like he brought a cake. And it just feels weird that it's like, hey, it's been 4 years since your father died. I brought a cake. Do people do that? I'm sorry your dad died years ago. I have a cake for you. Let's light candles. You know, it just feels weird. There's just little things like that where you're just like, huh? Like you can't think about it too much or it starts to just get strange. You know, it just feels at times a little amateurish, you know, where it's just just can't think about it. Let's see. And now they pay. Oh, I read that one. I read that one. Hot Sauce Guy and Mobile Haircut Guy are now in a special club. I can't wait to see how Fair Game $signs Waffle Maker Guy plans out. Dude, I legitimately don't know if Fair Games is even a thing anymore. Like, I don't think anybody knows. I don't know. Vintage, no, you're back. We have to go in order, so I'm getting to you. Don't worry. I didn't skip you. There's just a lot of very generous people here today. God damn it. It's ridiculous. Derail Gaming thing for 2. Look up Paladins and Realm Royale Hi-Res Studios. I have heard the Paladins comparison. I have heard that. People pointing to that. I think Jor said that he played a crap ton of Paladins back in the day. I mean, it does kind of hit that vibe. Like, again, kind of Overwatchy, but with like a little World of Warcraft with the art style. Like, it does kind of have that vibe. Sorry, we're still on sped up. It's not actually this fast. There we go. Yeah, I could see it. 53 nights. Thank you for that. Expedition 33 should have won more awards, like best content creator and multiplayer.
$20 through Super Chat. Some games are just going to lose. Ghost of Yote was sent out to die like Spider-Man 2. Games for impact should be games that had a huge impact on the industry, like E33, BG3, or even
Black Ops 7 for its huge blow to Activision. I will say the games for impact category, I still don't really know what it means. Which has been a complaint of the category for like 5 years or however long it's been a category. It just feels like it's games that tackle like maybe admirable topics, but not necessarily like they didn't necessarily perform well financially. You know, they're not blockbuster games. But I would say like then maybe games for games of importance, games of mortality, like whatever you want to, or morality, whatever you want to call them. But like if you're talking about a category for the games that had the biggest impact on the industry, I do think that's an interesting category. That would be really interesting. But I don't know. I mean, you'd have to start considering like, I think Concord had a big impact on the industry, and like I think it'd be tough to invite them to a Game Awards show and hand out the award, you know. So maybe it's only positive impact, you know, games for positive impact. Then you could get Expedition winning that. You could get games like Arc Raiders doing that. You could get games like, what's another one? Well, you get the point. That could be interesting. I just think like games for negative impact award, that would be, I think people would watch for that. I'll tell you what. But I do think the category is not super clear for sure. Worst studio of the year, and they make them come to the awards show. Dude. Oh man. Let's see. JBNYC, thank you for the 2. Luke, what happened to the last Sentinel from 23? I don't know. If anybody in chat knows, let me know. I'm not like, I don't know. Vintage, here we go. Thank you for the 5. Did you see Erica Ishin trying to be funny by obnoxiously eating popcorn before the best performance was announced? Millennial humor at its finest. I don't think I did see
Slicer
that.
donated €11.99.
What's upsetting is it's probably the way I unironically eat
Bit
popcorn.
off topic, but what do you think will be the next big step in gaming? Like graphics or gameplay wise? I think graphics are reaching the end of their evolution.
Jor, see guys, I told you Jor played Paladins. I told you. People were saying that Highguard looked like Paladins, and I was like, I think Jor used to play a lot of Paladins. It was like his secret obsession. Secret obsession. I told you guys. I know, Jor. Yeah, that's a good question, 53 Nights. Jor, are you back home in Australia? That's a good question. I'm not sure. Probably still in LA. It's a long flight back home to Australia. Let's see. As for the next step for games, I think, and I've said this before, Youngling Slicer, I think, to me, it seems like AI has to be where it goes. And I don't mean generative AI. Okay. I've been saying this in the context of NPC AI. I think that that's probably where things significantly evolve. Ray tracing, like I think we kind of hit a wall with it. It'll continue to just get refined and better, but I don't think it's going to be like night and day or anything. Same with like frame rates and resolutions and stuff. I don't think that's going to be the next frontier, but I do think that we'll see a lot more complexity being built out in terms of NPC interactions and behaviors. And I think that'll affect open world games a lot. So I that's why I keep pushing for like rewarding games that have really intense and captivating AI. That's why like AC Origins, AC Odyssey, they have some genuinely really, really cool AI stuff that they're doing with their NPCs, where they have their own day-night schedules. If you kill a guard in AC Odyssey or Origins, guards will then come collect the bodies, pile them up outside the keep, and then they'll come collect them, put them on a wagon, and take the bodies away. Like, it's genuinely really cool, all the stuff they do in those games. And I hope that continues to get refined and overhauled, because I think that has a way bigger impact on games than like, we can draw twice the number of leaves on screen at a time, you know?
At Gavin Beard 4026 donated $9.99 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
I want to be excited for the Old Republic game, but it's hard when it's 5 years away at the earliest, and we've seen great Star Wars trailers like Eclipse and KOTOR Remake disappear into these wind.
Yeah, I would stay cautiously optimistic, especially because in the next year or two, we probably see a big shakeup at Disney. Bob Iger will actually retire again, for real this time. And when he has a replacement come in, it's very likely that they will shake things up. Whether that means putting their own game studios, greenlighting those, or maybe they cut game studio funding and projects and licensing, who knows? But there will be major leadership shakeups at Disney in the next couple of years, so I would remain cautiously optimistic. But never doubt Disney's ability to steal defeat from the jaws of victory. Okay? They have a talent for it. It's really a skill, frankly, at this point. Ray tracing audio, says Unknown Revolver. I think the thing about audio overhauls and like improvements, the vast majority of people are playing games with the built-in speakers on their TVs. He heard listening to Luke through the built-in speakers on his TV. And like, but the point is that you can't appreciate binaural audio recording. You can't appreciate 3D bounced audio and 3D traced, like path traced audio file. Like, you can't appreciate all of that stuff when that's the device you're using to consume audio, you know? So I think audio is going to continue to not get enough love. You know, I think headphones and in-ear phones will become more of a thing. If they do, then more effort will be put into audio for sure. But until then, I think resources are better spent elsewhere, because most people just won't appreciate it, unfortunately. The Doom of Sudan, thank you for 10 months. I'm just glad they didn't name the Tomb Raider game just Tomb Raider. Then we would have 3 of those, and it's already confusing. That's fair. That's fair. They could have done the Xbox thing and called it Tomb Raider 4 and then Tomb Raider 1 out of order. And then they could have called it Tomb Raider The Next Journey or something, and then named the next one Tomb Raider 1 again to just reset. Or the Battlefield thing. You go Tomb Raider 1, and then the next game is Tomb Raider 5. And then the next game is Tomb Raider 2042. We do it that way. That could work. That could work. I think we solved it. EA can just send me a check whenever. Or I guess not EA. Whoever's in charge of Tomb Raider. You have my mailing address. Just send me the check for figuring out the naming convention. Let's see. I think it's important to remember that they likely paid for the One Last Thing placement. I wouldn't be too quick to lay this at Jeff's feet. Ultimately, I think Quack Axe, it is fair that perhaps they paid for it. But the magical thing also about being paid for things is that you can also say no. So if Jeff really thought that that would be received the way I think it was last night, I think he could have been like, no, we're not going to let you take the last slot. We already have that locked in, but we can give you the second to last slot and do it that way. At some point, I think Jeff did not think that people would respond this negatively towards it, which maybe he genuinely thought that High Guard was going to be something people wanted to see, but I don't know. I don't know how you could end up with that, but anyway, let's see. This is my Expedition 33 on Luke's channel, says Odin Arrow, with 33 months of membership. Booyah! That's fantastic. Thank you, my friend. For those who come after. 32 months, 34 months for those who come after. Thank you, my friend. Meta, thank you for the 5. I find it hard to believe that Jeff was 100% on board with High Guard reveal as his last reveal. It doesn't make sense unless... I don't know. What do you think, Jor? What do you think, Jor? Are you able to hop in the Discord? Like even just to chat verbally? I want to know what you thought of that final reveal. If you only can type, that's fine too. But I'm so curious. Like, am I taking crazy pills? Am I out of whack here? I feel like it was a crazy choice. Why was Todd there at all? To give the award for best direction. And the mini bar. I can't blame him. I mean, I love a good mini bar too, especially all you can drink. Man, you know what I do? You know what I do when I see a mini bar? This. Dude, YouTube's been killing it with the thumbnails, dude. It's been killing it. Doing so good. I do think KCD2 should have won Best RPG. Expedition 33 has some RPG mechanics, but KCD2 fully embraces it. You literally live in the world. Literally. Yeah, you literally do. You literally do. Wait. He was the waiter, wasn't he? Yes, he was undercover the whole time. The whole time. It was all part of his plan. All part of the plan. Let's see. Oh, Jor says I can call. Hold on. Let me call Jor. I want to know what he thought of all this, okay? We're just going to call him. I think my audio will work. Hey, buddy.
Sounds good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. Yeah,
Look at that. The power of the internet.
Good. Yeah, I'm on the airport, so...
Oh, we'll be quick. I just wanted to know what you thought of not just the show, but what did you think of that final reveal?
Paladins.
Of Paladins, yeah.
I really thought about that game immediately when I saw it. And Realm Royale. I'm not sure if you know that. That's the other game that they made.
Realm Royale. I'll look it up.
But yeah, it's like the Battle Royale they made with Paladin assets. I don't know, like... It could be big. On paper, of course, having the Apex Legends people is pretty big. And their new game. I mean, I think it's overall interesting how Embark, of course, is huge. X-Dice people. While Battlefield 6 is still doing well too. And that we now also have a spin-off studio from Respawn people.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it is another Embark. We don't know. I think it's cool that it's launching soon. But yeah, if it will be big, I think it will probably be harder than... Like, they're trying the Apex Legends model a bit, it seems. But to end on it, I don't know. I would have loved something else. But I also, looking at the show, what would have been a good ending?
I like I've said, I think that they should have just rearranged it. Like, I think they had the statue built up hype so much. It felt kind of weird that they dropped the Larian thing so early in the show. I think you literally just swap places with this and Larian And I think the narrative is totally different. Or if they wanted to pay extra to be towards the end of the show, let them be the second to last announcement, but let Divinity be last. And I really believe if Divinity was last, that like none of this would be happening right now.
Yeah, but that's only a cinematic trailer though. So that I do think that's my overall thing with the show. It was, yeah, a lot of the cool announcements were just cinematic trailers. Like that Star Wars trailer didn't really do anything for me, to be honest. I also think that being at the start of the show will probably cost more, and it's better because you have more people watching, I think, than at the end.
I would think it's probably the opposite. I think you're probably paying more because I think people start to funnel in and then they want to see what wins Game of the Year. And everybody kind of, it's like Charlie said in his video we were watching, everybody like is expecting the final reveal to be the biggest one. And so that's at least what I would expect. I don't know. When you hear final reveal, what do you think? I would have thought that's their biggest, craziest reveal.
Yeah, I think I get that, but I don't know. I think Witcher last year was also at the start, right? All those bigger games.
I think Witcher, but they finished on Intergalactic, which Naughty Dog's new game. Like that's a big one.
Yeah. What I heard, and it's pretty interesting, like from the Phantom Blade Zero people who were at the show as well, that I met like afterwards, that they did not like they were one of the final trailers as well, but they just gave the trailer to Jeff. And they did not know where he was going to put it. So it does seem that maybe the first few you really like communicate, and then maybe the final one as well. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe Jeff did, like he, of course, I do think also wants to be like it's all the Game of the Year nominations are all the single player games. I do think he wants to, be more with the modern times and. We don't know. Like, if this is the next Arca Raiders, then it might be one of the bigger games of 2026. But yeah, it's of course kind of hard to predict that.
Yeah, but that's very interesting that S-Game just handed it to them and then they put it where they wanted to. That's crazy. I got to ask you though, speaking of crazy.
They were waiting till the end.
They're like, did he forget to put it in?
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I'd be stressing. We spent how much money? Did he forget to put it in? I got to ask you though, are you just as baffled as I am that there was no Black Flag remake? I thought for sure it was going to be there, especially after all the like changing of the profile pictures and stuff. Like, am I crazy, or was that wild that they weren't there at all?
No, I never expected it, to be honest. But yeah, I think they're going to do a way shorter cycle for that game. Looking at the other remasters and stuff, I really think you don't want to. I think Oblivion really changed some things for those remaster and remakes. I think you just want to be, it's coming and you can play it in a few weeks. Have it short, have it sweet. Yeah. And if they really still have the Prince of Persia remake, it is kind of weird to be like, oh, we have two now at the same time, and please, like then it's okay. All the Ubisoft games are now remakes, like that they maybe get that narrative. So, I never expected it. To be fair.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just thought like with Ubisoft of the past, I think they would have been there and dropping it. I think it would be I've said for a long time, I think the best way for them to do it is shadow drop in the Black Flag remake. I think that's the best case scenario for them in terms of like how it's received, but we'll see if they do or don't. But who knows?
Yeah, 100%. Especially after Shadows and how they really lost like the lead on the narrative for that game.
Yeah, I think the longer you market something, the tougher it is to keep it under control. Like I think it's very tough to control the narrative even within a single week, much less for 6 months, unless you're like one of these most anticipated crazy hyped games where people are not looking like that skeptically at it, like if you're GTA 6, you can do a 2-year marketing cycle and be just fine. But to be fair, they also could do a 3-day marketing cycle and be fine. But
and they seemingly are like they announced it, of course, and they still only they have 2 trailers now. I think the next time we see it, it's probably like August or something, or September. So that is their real marketing cycle.
Yeah, I think GTA
when
6
the
is
pre-orders
going to be.
open.
Yeah, exactly. They'll
For
announce
this
like collector's edition or something and go from there.
Yeah, exactly.
But was there anything else fun you saw or didn't see at the Game Awards? Did you fight off what's his name, Matan, from storming the stage? Was there anything else fun that you saw?
So I thought overall the Resident Evil trailer was the best one. I think they really did a great job building that up and then kind of showing the two, showing the gameplay, and that, like, we knew that was gonna happen, but it was still very hype, and that also got the biggest reaction out of the audience. And I kind of missed that overall. I was of course there. Like, Control was, I think, looking very cool too, and I like their different approach, going outside and having a different main character. I think that game looked very cool too. But overall, having the two, yeah, maybe I think it's also hard. Like, maybe we're too in the know, or like I was following the leaks very closely, and then to only have the big surprise be like a live service battle royale Paladins game is kind of disappointing. But so overall, I was kind of like not as high on it as previous years, because the biggest games like Divinity, Star Wars, I did think the pod racing game looked pretty cool, but overall the biggest reveals were cinematic trailers for games that we will not even see on this generation of consoles. So
yeah, I was surprised at how
overall
many of
pretty
them were
disappointed.
2027. There were a lot of 27 games shown.
Yeah.
But overall, like, I
100%.
I thought it was a solid show. I just think the way that they paced it, especially that last like 45 minutes and that final reveal, I think soured a lot of people's opinions on it. But there was still some that looked really, really good. No Law looked awesome. Ontos looked really, really cool. And
Yeah,
the Badger game.
It was especially also Jeff saying, and there's one game that has not been leaked yet, and that turning out to be that, I don't even remember the name, Westfield, yeah, the Battle Royale game. Highguard, oh yes, them. So yeah, that was also not the right way to tease it, I think. But I think for like a lot of the games, like, we got release dates. Sarah's actually moved,
Yeah.
which I think was interesting, and they did not really talk about that, but that game got delayed by a month.
Yeah.
And and I think that's good, because March, like, Crimson Desert not being here, that is kind of a red flag to me, by the way.
Oh, sorry, what was that?
That Crimson Desert was not there. I
Yeah.
think that's kind of a red flag.
I think sorry, I think my headphones are dying. I thought for sure that it was going to be there, like, cuz they've been kind of everywhere, and
yeah,
like, they always have a trailer, they always have something. And so I thought for sure they'd have like a little, even if it was like a recut of previous gameplay, I thought for sure there'd be something, but no, they weren't. My guess is they're going to just hit the ground running in January now that they haven't been there. But yeah, they're in the home stretch.
Yeah, we
but
will see.
That was surprising.
Yeah.
Beyond that, like, I just think it was a solid show. I just think the pacing kind of spoiled it for a lot of people, and nothing feels worse than like other games are being cast aside in favor of live service stuff that just has a bigger checkbook. But that's the thing about Highguard that I don't know. Like, Highguard doesn't, as far as I can see, doesn't have like a big publisher. It's not like it's an EA game. So I don't know where they would get the money for that. And so it makes me wonder if Jeff really did think that was like the best game to finish the show on, which would be crazy to me. But
yeah, I do think that number we heard about the 1 million is, I think, mostly for the ads, so the Wuthering Waves, and I mean, the amount of gacha games funding this show is crazy. So if you're like in the audience, you have the big screen, that is where the regular trailers are shown, and then they are moving to the smaller screen for the ad segments. And then you realize how many of those there actually are. Like, every 20 to 25 minutes or something, 5 of these trailers would drop. They would see Sydney Goodman, go to Amazon for this and this.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like crazy to actually be in the show and know, okay, there's a lot of it is just ads. And I do know also from the Phantom Blade guys that they did not pay a lot. So there are these trailers that will just Rising Tide lifts all boats, right? If Phantom Blade was not there, then you already had like a big reveal not be there. So I do think Jeff is kind of going to these companies, be like, yo, I can like give you a deal for you to be there. So I do think he thinks that this Respawn thing is potentially good. Or again, I think he just wants this Game Awards to be more than the traditional single player titles.
Yeah, he's got to get into the NFT stuff. I have some people at Ubisoft you could talk to.
Oh wow, yeah.
I heard Charlie's working on some stuff. Well, that's interesting. So S Game guys, they told you that they didn't have to pay a lot or much, or at least they got a discount.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't know when their trailer was going to show, and also they didn't pay a lot. So yeah, that was pretty interesting to hear. And he overall, like, the game director recorded all the footage himself. So
Really?
I mean, that game is looking awesome, and it gives some interesting insights to the show. So I really think that, like, for example, with the Capcom, they probably were also like, we can give you this Resident Evil reveal, which of course is a huge one. But yeah, the Mega Man stuff will then be free, or having the orchestra play or something like that, right?
Yeah. Well, that's crazy.
Very interesting.
That is very interesting. We'll do a full debrief when you get back. But I just wanted to touch base with you.
Yeah, sure.
But appreciate you. Hope you had a great time. It was fun seeing the back of your head on stream. That was always cool. I saw it. It felt so weird, but I was like, is this creepy? But I'm pretty sure that's the back of Jor's head. Like, I don't know why I know what the back of his head looks like, but I'm pretty sure that's him.
You've rarely seen that, actually.
Yeah, it was a very weird thing. I guess I'm just good at back of heads, because I also saw you sitting next to someone and I was like, I think that's Redberry too, and I could only see the back of his head, and it ended up being Redberry. So that's just funny.
Did you see his photo of him watching the stream while at the Game Awards?
Oh no, I didn't.
Watching your stream?
Did he share that?
Yeah, I like took a photo of that, of him watching your stream.
Oh my god,
while,
I just checked. Hold on, guys, this is awesome. Look at that. Look, that's awesome. He's watching the stream while he's at the Game Awards. That's freaking awesome, dude. That's amazing. That's so funny. I feel like such a big deal. Wow.
I mean, you had a lot of viewers as well, so like really cool to see.
Yeah, dude, we had over 100,000 people cycle through the stream.
Oh my god,
like, it was crazy.
Yeah,
Corey Barlog was watching with us. It was a good time. He said his game was in the show. Yeah. We just missed it.
That's so funny. Yeah, there was like a Reddit post as well, like a few hours before the show. I just saw Corey leave the Peacock Theater. The game must be there.
Dude, really? People were saying that? That's awesome.
Yeah.
We'll have to let Corey know, because that's insane that people were like making up that they spotted him. They're like, he's there. That's awesome. Who knew?
Yeah, it was very similar to the Gabe, like that people like follow his cruise ship, and that he was like on his way to Summer Game Fest. I'm not sure if you remember that leak.
Yeah,
so people were like Half-Life 3.
They were tracing his yacht like along the coast. It was crazy. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, see you later then.
Yeah, it sounds good.
When I get back home.
Safe travels to Australia.
Yes, I'm gonna hug my kangaroo pets. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it'll be great. Okay, have a good one, man.
See you later, man.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
That's awesome. Well, little breaking news reveal that the S Game guys didn't know where their game was being put, and that they just sent it to Jeff and then he put it somewhere. That's crazy. That's wild. So that makes me wonder about all of the games and all the orderings and stuff. That's crazy. Corey was watching the stream from the Peacock Theater. No, we were joking when he popped in stream. We're like, okay, so Corey's game is not going to be here unless he's on his phone in the theater, but I think that's unlikely. But I didn't know that people were on like Reddit claiming that they spotted him and were like, so he's there for sure because we spotted it. That's crazy. That's low-key unhinged. But anyway, guys, I think I will call it there. We go in like 3 hours. I can't believe we've been going that long. But I got to go help the wife and the boys unload from the car and then go down for nap time. So I'm going to call it there, but I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for this little debrief of the show. You guys were incredibly generous. Real quick, I want to say thank you for the super chat that came in while we were on the phone with Jor. Bender sent 10. Dispatch not winning a debut indie game is fair, but man, did it feel bad to see it lose to Wuthering Waves and Player's Voice Award. Dude, for real. I agree. Cascope, I don't know. Thank you for the 2. When do you expect Ubisoft Forward 2026? Usually it's June, like 8th, 9th, 10th, something like that. It's usually like a day or two after Summer Games Fest because they have all the press already there. So that'd be my guess. Cam Plays, thank you for the 5. Is the new Tomb Raider remake the Survivor Universe version of it? I don't actually know what they're doing in terms of like which version of it is, or if it's something new. I don't actually know. And then it's GT, thank you for the 5. I do think KCD 2 should have won Best RPG. I did read that one. Yes, I do think so too. Well, I appreciate you guys. You guys are freaking awesome. Much love. I have not had a chance to set up the PS5 Pro giveaway thing for last night that we mentioned last night. So I will do that this afternoon. And I will set that up and then I'll share it and everything so you guys can enter and potentially win. Okay. So stay tuned for that. Until next time, my friends, much love. Thanks for hanging out. I'll love you very much and I'll see you soon. Okay. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.